mention your 2-part series, actually.
Oh, well, yeah, that
should have read through that. Well, you could do that, because, like, honestly, there is news, but there's not news I would want to entertain. To quote our good friend Athena, there's nothing trending on X currently that I feel is worth my time discussing. So, like,
no, what's wild though sometimes is the number of I get screenshots on my like For You page. Yeah, we're live.
Yeah.
I get screenshots on my For You section of Twitter. And it's the only reason why, because I guess they've changed the algorithm for what gets curated your way. But I get the most insane shit from LinkedIn now. Like they's like, we're gonna turn LinkedIn into social media posting, and it is the most insane shit ever. So one I got today, and she, or one I saw the other day, is she said, "Today my daughter had redacted something. As a mother, I felt a whirlwind of emotions, grief, compassion, and confusion. But as a marketer, I felt inspired because in that painful moment, I realized every decision is made and driven by story. My daughter didn't make her choice because of stats and infographics. She made it because of narratives, values, and clarity of identity. The same forces that drive great brands. It reminded me that customers don't want features. They want empowerment. Messaging must be clear, courageous, and deeply personal. Marketing is about helping people make hard decisions with confidence."
This is like literally an Ideas Man. This is like a skit from Ideas Man.
It's gotta be. I'm sure half. This is the thing. At a certain point, all these kind of schizophrenic posts I see on LinkedIn, it's no different from like r/confession. Like everyone talks about like the great in-shitification of all things. And I really think that it should be titled like the great redification of all things, because the moment you allow certain things to have a platform for Facebook style of posting, it becomes this weird menagerie of just saying the most insane shit possible because you know it gets screenshotted, or you know it'll make the rounds somewhere, and you hope to like point to your friends and be like, "Hey, this one made it to iFunny or something."
Yeah.
And that, I mean, it's the whole, include me in the screenshot anon for all the classic green text stuff, because they know that this will get posted somewhere on r/green text or something like that. I mean, there are whole YouTube channels that just make their living off narrating these things for fun.
There was a book series. It was called. I remember Kat was talking about it. There was a series of books from a website where you could anonymously confess like your deepest and darkest type of things. It was called My Post or something Post, and people would confess like usually, like they would confess very terrible things like CSAM SA. I broke up with my boyfriend because he had an ingrown toenail. Stuff like that. Like ranging from like terrible, horrific life ruination to like petty nonsense. And then of course, like just sheer, like I think the owner said a lot of them would like, they'd like, troll the website by just like racism posting, anonymously. But it's like with LinkedIn, I wonder, not being a wagey myself. Well, I mean, I kind of am. We kind of are all spiritual wagies nowadays. Like even if you are a quote unquote content creator, but like being in an environment, I mean, I see Sean Weiland in the chat. He could probably attest to this. Being in an environment where you sort of have to have this business mindset of like late capitalist competition, but also giving you the illusion that it is a social media site. I think there's a lot of people, there's an inherent moral hazard to that structure, because people will be tripped into thinking that it is basically like another social media site, when no, it's actually a website for like getting jobs and listing your credentials. And, a lot of business people use, a lot of academics use it, although academics still have this like elitist illusion of like, the website design academic style, where it's like a text-based, like early 2000s core website. Like,
you know what you just reminded me of? Like, there are three things at once that you immediately reminded me of. You reminded me of, and I'm sure you had this when you were in college. You remember Yik Yak? Like that kind of like geolocate. I remember that getting, I think it had gotten sued, or it had opened an investigation because I think someone at the university, like no, it was Colorado College in Colorado Springs. I remember the story. He had said something like kind of innocuous, where he's like, I just don't find black women attractive. And then like the Center for Student Life was like, I need to have an investigation open so I can ruin this young man's life. You reminded me of that. And then you reminded me of
Post Secret. That's what I was talking about.
Post Secret. That's what it was called. But also, I was instantly reminded of F My Life. Like if you go back to like 2010, 2012, it was a website where people could go out and share stories about how their life sucks. And I was driving yesterday, and I thought, I haven't thought about that website in about 10 years. I
There
wonder
was a
what it's
series of
like.
blog sites, yeah.
And I went to it. The UI is atrocious. It reminds me of Dig. And the last post I saw on a certain form came from just yesterday. And then after that, they're very sporadic in their posts of how often they get posted on sections about love or job or their ex-girlfriend or whatever. And I was just like, wow, it's kind of wild. And you can kind of tell by how people respond, because you can vote whether or not, yeah, I agree, your life sucks, or you totally deserved it. And it's very Reddified.
It's like Yahoo Answers.
Yeah, but Yahoo Answers was at least entertaining, because you could be like, how can I get Gregnant or something? But I guess my things that I find funny from 10 years ago have just radically changed. I guess that's my measure of maturity. Is for instance, I'm not on TikTok at all whatsoever. My fiance has it because occasionally her sister sends her funny memes and things.
I should get on it, but
and she sent me I was, we were on the couch watching TV, and her sister sent her something. It was a clip from Employee of the Month, Dak Shepard, Dane Cook. And she's like, what is this? And I was like, oh my God, you don't know who Dane Cook was? And I briefly explained that, he was this guy who was popular as a stand-up comic for 3 years, from 2007 to 2010.
And he gemmed out, and then
he gemmed out, and then Cormac McCarthy, he discovered that high school love is never too late for him, and he got engaged to a 17-year-old girl or something. And
is that what happened? I thought because he started talking about pro-life stuff.
No, I'm almost positive Dane Cook got I'm thinking it's either him or someone else.
That was the actor.
No, there's a major age gap. They were wed in 2023.
No.
There's a 26-year age gap. Enjoy Reddit. Yeah, she's I think she's a fitness something or whatnot. But anyways,
that actor Bruce Hutchinson from The Green Mile, the asshole guard.
Yeah,
he married a 16-year-old. She had to get emancipated. I'm like, oh my God.
Boy. Yeah, but no, yeah, I guess
that was an awkward coast to coast.
Dane Cook met what's her name, Augusta Britt, and realized that it wasn't too late for him. So I mean, there you go.
Took her to Mexico. Had a tragic.
No, they got married in Hawaii. But what's wild about it all was that I was like, oh my gosh, you don't know who that is. And then I was like, what's the funniest thing I can remember from Dane Cook? And I'm reminded of the Burger King bit. And so I play it on my phone, and she's just like, this was funny 10, 15 years ago. And I was like, yeah, now that you mention it, it's kind of odd. And then
what's your girlfriend's feed look like on TikTok?
A bizarre mix of cooking, local crime drama stuff, and a lot of protests against a certain nation of the Middle East. So I will leave
white girl stuff. Right here.
I will very although sometimes there is a recipe that I have made from stuff that she has sent me.
Has she come across the Nick Fuentes thirst trap videos?
No, and I'm terrified the day that happens. I hope it doesn't.
They got millions of views by these Zoomer girls into Nick Fuentes.
Well, I know Catherine wrote the article about it, which is cute. It's terrifying to think about that. But hey, we live in an age of total sexual degeneracy. So I mean, anything goes, as Mr. Porter would sing. Anything goes.
But back in the day, there used to be websites that were just dedicated to one meme. Yeah. And there was, I believe FML was run by Three Horse Blogs, or it was either Horsehead Blogs or Three Ring Blogs. And there was a bunch of them. There was Joe Lieberman Block. There was you'll ship bricks. If you see, and it's always some kind of Slender Man edited in the background. There was also Rate My Girlfriend, but it was non-nudity, just her look. I remember one time, it's all 15 years ago. There was this stunningly beautiful woman that was kind of, Midwestern plain Jane, but still I don't know.
I like that you're telling me this story, and the already I'm 5 seconds into this introduction, and the only thing I've walked away from is Gio one-shotted by Midwestern Foyd 15 years ago.
yeah. And then people don't believe this, but back in the day, the biggest one was and you could see it everywhere because it would get cross-listed on MySpace and Instagram and Facebook, was Icon Has Cheeseburger.
Oh yeah, Can I has
Sold for millions
cheeseburger.com.
of dollars. Was not a good return on investment. Put it that way.
No, but also, you know who
Now
that
memes
reminds
are
me?
everywhere.
Do you remember that shirt was Cash?
Yes. Yeah. I remember this. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. The OG memeware brand. So this is what blows my mind. I'm going to give the guy a lovely little shout out. I don't know if he still owns.
He follows us, I think.
He follows us. And so I was blown away when I found out that like this guy from That Shirt Was Cash. I own a That Shirt Was Cash shirt.
Maybe you should sponsor us.
From 10 years ago, mind you. I think it's the back to back World War champs ones. So I have is this stream about the video game industry? Yes and no, Cinny, but we'll get to that. I have a lot of things to say there. So yeah, so anyways, he messaged me like about like a year ago, and he was like, "Hey man, like I hate to like blow like enter your DMs unannounced or whatever, but like do you have any questions like about like I'm trying to like find a church for me and my like wife." And I was like, hold on a second. I went to his account, looked everything up, and I said, dude, like it's kind of wild that you're messaging me and that you're this like you're the shirt guy. Like I remember you from like 10 years ago, when I was like totally unaware of my current political beliefs. But anyways, he goes to church, he follows us, he's a fan of the show. It's kind of wild to think about.
What music does your GF listen to? Your fiance?
Of a wide variety of things. Although we finally managed to settle on what we were going to our first dance for the wedding. So
Blade.
I was guest at the biggest Austrian game convention to exhibit my demo of my game. My legs still hurt. Oh well, that's great. I'm so glad to hear that happened. That's good.
What's your game animation? We'll plug it. We'll spawn when it comes out. We'll sponsor it.
I have the name of it here somewhere. When's the last time?
She likes Imagine Dragons.
You're listening to. No, I'm not going to do the whole. I believe it's called Clash of Melodies. That is the game. She likes Imagine Dragons. No. Yeah, Clash of Melodies, wish list now. Well, there, I'll just go to Steam.
Clash of Melodies. Pull this up. We got to see
I am Steam.
What's this about, Clash of Melodies?
It is, if I remember correctly, it's like a rhythm game.
It's like Tower of Silence.
Clash of Melodies. And it's a free demo.
In the Zarathustra series, I'm actually painting one of the side images. I'm actually painting a Tower of Silence.
Share screen.
Because, you know, Iran...
This is a game, a visual novel. And it is a rhythm game. But Cinny has worked on it. Publisher, developer. Look at that. We know an actual game developer that's based. There you go. So there you go, guys. Go wishlist on Steam. There is a demo that you can play. There you go. 2 rhythm game modes, 1 DDR, 1 FNF inspired arrow mode. And there you go. There you go.
You need like a cool like Clash of Clans type of intro.
And I think this is Cinny's art as well. So this is fantastic stuff. You know, we have some really amazing.
Yeah.
We have some amazing fans.
Clash of
It's like Super Smash Bros. With like Mozart and Vivaldi. I'm a fan. Let's go with that.
Whoa.
But with that being said, it is the Digital Archipelago, episode 148.
That was like a studio intro. Like that was like a radio station.
No, I literally just opened up a can of Coke to go do this.
Yeah, that's like Michael Pauly put that in the Core Report intro, like the radio station.
I'm gonna start doing that when we do the birthday stream, Gio. I will do the 30-year-old boomer meme because I will literally become the 30-year-old boomer this year. And what's so funny though is that a friend of mine at church, hi, I know you're listening, or you'll be listening to this when you're at work. Howdy, fucker. He turns 50 a few days before I do, or before our birthday. And I'm going to, and when on my 29th birthday, he took me out to dinner or lunch, and he literally walked up and shook my hand, and he says, "You have less than 1 year of youth left." And I was like, "Thanks, dude. You turned 50 this year."
Scary. Well, 50 is a new 40.
That's so true.
Yeah.
What a wild ride.
Doesn't Imagine Dragons, don't they have that song about were my demons something demons?
Yeah, I can't. There are like 3 songs and they're all like the same ones
like
you hear on the radio.
Yeah, that is like
you have less than 1 year. It's true. It's true.
See, back
40
in
is
the
the new
day,
22. Yeah, it just depends on who you talk to or what kind of business you're in. But on screen, I have the QR code to my Subscribe Star if you wish to donate to that. And then, of course, we have the
whoa,
Interp links in the description as well as the pinned comment here on YouTube. Your support makes my life a little easier and more affordable for everything. It is later than you think. That's very true. It is. You don't
back in the
feel it at
day,
30. You feel it around 35. We'll find out when, because Gio will beat me to it, so he can tell me in like 2 years.
Oh yeah. Back in the day on the MySpace days, if women wanted to be like, edgy, they'd listen to like Flyleaf or trying to think here, Evanescence. But yeah, I don't know. I haven't listened.
It's kind of wild that like everything from Creed to Evanescence has just sort of become like a meme in the general right-wing news sphere on Twitter. Like I saw a guy who's like a Claremont fellow post a 2003 live showing of Evanescence singing "Wake Me Up," and I was like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah, watching Spyro's trying to convince you that Hayley Williams is based from Paramore.
No,
it's not going to happen. But Lacey Strum is based from Flyleaf. Apparently, she converted to Orthodoxy.
Oh, good for her.
Yeah, she came back to Flyleaf. She was gone for a little bit, and she came back. I was at karaoke bar yesterday, and they were singing Creed. Yeah, Creed's coming back in a big way. They should have Creed. They should have Creed at the Super Bowl instead of that. Was that Hispanic guy?
Bad Bunny.
Yeah, like they're just making pop stars up. Like who's. It's like who? Maybe it's
this is how you know that you're Canadian, because you know nothing about big musicians in the global South, because you have a different kind of subpopulation in your country, which is the subcontinent and not the global, and not South and Central America. 2000s nostalgia and it's Orthodox. Yeah, it's true. But I've seen Paramore live twice. I have seen Paramore live. I won't be. There's nothing wrong with that. I've seen plenty of other bands live more than once. That
I saw Nightwish live once.
I have the musical taste of an early 2000s shitlib in something that would be in like the soundtrack of Garden State or 500 Days of Summer. I truly do have the musical taste of a shitlib who listens to NPR, except I don't listen to NPR anymore.
NPR Little Studio.
Listen to a lot of those Tiny Desk concerts.
The Tiny Desk
concert.
Hobo Johnson. I had this
with just two shoestrings and a stick. Made rock and roll, everyone.
Yeah, like a little tiny Marshall, like the clip-on.
I have seen the Decemberists more times live than I care to count. That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh man,
I'm not kidding. I really do have the music taste of an early 2000s shitlib. It's pretty bad.
Apparently apparently Nirvana has like picked up steam recently.
You know what's wild? And what's crazy though is that a lot of music gets picked up in the same way of.
I think it was the 25th anniversary of Nevermind. I think.
Oh, is it? Is it been 25? When did Nevermind come out?
93.
91.
No.
So it's been over 30 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. We all hope you get well soon.
I had a tweet I deleted once that blew up about like when that clip from Hobo Johnson went super viral, the Tiny Desk one.
Yeah.
Like this is the soundtrack to like male feminists in college essaying their students in the dorm room.
Oh my.
Yeah, no, but it does have that vibe though. I hate to say it, but like I'm soft, I'm passionate, I love you, but also like there's this dark undercurrent there that you can't like quite put your finger on. Mudvayne's doing a tour of LD50. I should go and see that. I wonder if there was any Canadian dates.
I just love this guy's username. And it doesn't help that Gio and I were talking about Frasier behind the scenes before we went live on the air. Because we were, what were we talking about? We had mentioned
you did a clip.
I had said something that I'm not ever going to repeat live on air to be clipped. But I
forget so Niles and Daphne, they got together in
they get together. It's like season 7/8 because it goes for 11. I think it's like season 9.
They
finally get
edged you
together.
for like the whole.
They
series.
edge you for like a decade, and
Yeah.
then they somehow manage to stick the landing, because that's the problem with so many will they or won't they stories on television, is that once the will they happens, and they do happen, how do you manage to keep a domestic life going without introducing a baby and things like that? It's kind of wild.
Wait, are they actually touring with Static X? Because like that's how could they tour with like after Wayne Static died? Do they have like a replacement singer? Oh my God, they do. Who is this? Zero Brian Chambers Ebger as Ansel Dope is the new singer. Okay, that does make sense. That does make sense that Ansel Dope is like the new singer of Static X, because they're very similar. But I think, if I recall correctly, Dope had to disband, and a bunch of other bands had to like disband because Trip Eason.
Primetime TV used to feature great music. See The Sopranos. Also, Scrubs had a great list of music soundtracks that you could listen to and find great artists.
Yeah.
Gondola, that is an incredibly generous donation. Thank you very much. I will give you the proper attention at the end, as I do.
How
for
much
all
is
Super
that
Chat.
in America?
That is that's $100.
Whoa.
So that's
Trip Eason had
Gondola. If you want me to review something with that, you can ask for it, and we can make it happen. But thank you so much. That is incredibly generous.
Whoa. Yeah, it's a zombie Wayne Static. He really nails it, though. No problems from me. Well, yeah, I mean, of course, Ansel Dope is going to nail it. They have a very similar vocal range, but also, like, yeah, they had to get rid of Dope because Trip Eason likes him young. So, man, that's...
Many such cases.
It's like the Lost Prophets guy got a wig split in prison. Did you see that?
No, I did not.
Yeah, that was... But then, I don't know, there are people that were kind of counter-singling it, which I understand.
Yes, Ted Fred, they did.
I understand, like, the counter-singling to the sense of, like, you can't rely on prisoners to do the job the state should have done anyways. Like, a guy like... Are
you referring to execution?
Yes, like, the Lost Prophets guy, he should have been on death row, and he should have done it quick. But, I guess, like... There is, like, I understand, like, there is a weird normie sadism when it comes to the American prison system, but, like, that guy should have been executed by the state to begin with. So, I mean, it's the same with Robert Pickton. Hey, did people know this? Robert Pickton actually died last year. He got shanked by a prisoner, and, good riddance to bad rubbish. But honestly, like, I mean, I agree. The one take that I'll ever agree with Doug Ford on is that, yes, we should bring back the old, what do you call it? The old Sparky. He got in trouble for that because, like, he's like, back in the day, we used to hook him up to old Sparky. And he was implying that Canada should bring back the death penalty, which, I mean, honestly, we should. I mean, I'm pretty much pro death penalty. If it is, like, proven beyond a shadow of doubt, I don't see why not. When I was younger, I used to be against it because there is a lot of cases where people were wrongfully convicted. But I think, like, in special cases like Robert Pickton, I mean, obviously, controversial take, Robert Pickton should have died. But
just a tad, It's also, I'm kind of like, bring back old Sparky, gotta rock.
He actually said that.
You want to feel old? You remember Mike the Electric Fence Pence? One of those memes. Now when you talk about old Sparky, now you just think about Hassan Piker's dog.
No one did that edit though. No one like revived the Mike Pence edit.
Why? Because he cucked out. Like, why would you why would you take it back? I would never take Prude for a Guided by Voices enjoyer. People, oh man, my music taste is
Guided by
all
Voices,
over the
I've never
place.
heard of this.
No, Andrew Kelly, not that I know of.
It's not that Catholics are supposed to be. There's a debate there. Like, I mean, I think Classic Theist had a pretty good thread on it. I mean, I know that in modern times, a lot of popes have countersignaled the death penalty, but I think they're more referring to these sort of like less than stellar regimes around the world that, execute people left and right. But I mean, there is a debate. Yeah, Ed Fester wrote a book about it.
How much to get Prude and Gio to review an entire music album? I guess $100.
Ed Fester.
It depends on like the album, I guess. But no, like I just my music taste is all over the place in that regard because it really does jump from everything from like screamo to like libtard indie shit that you'd hear on Garden State. So it's okay. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Don't
it's on
worry
Ed
about
Fester's
it.
blog as well. He writes about the death penalty. I got to read this. It wasn't that. It wasn't.
Have you ever listened to Tally Hall? Michael Hassler asks. I have.
No, I don't think
my
I
friend
have.
Jay Ford and I have a lot in common.
Tally Hall. What is this?
This is. I know people call it very true and coded these days, but they have some.
Well, I mean, I listen to like, you know,
Prude like stomp clap hey. I guess not really.
I mean, I don't know. I listened to some of that. You know, some of that.
When I did cross country
stuff.
in high school, my running music was always like Attack and stuff like that.
I mean, I listen to some of that. Like I listen to Machine Girl, Sewer Slut, Femtanol.
Sewer Slut. That's what we called the dorm rooms at the local sorority at the University of Florida in Gainesville.
Oh, we'll rank that super chat from Jan when it comes time, but yeah. But
this is why I don't like the more I let out about myself, or I let my when the frog moves away and it's like the sad mustache man comes out, then all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, you guys are gonna learn more lore about me, and it's like, oh, that's true, that's very true, that's who I am. We know.
Well, so here's what Ed Fesser says. The first would be to read it as a teaching that capital punishment, meaning Pope Francis's comments on capital punishment, is intrinsically immoral. This would amount to an outright reversal of the traditional doctrine of the church, and thus endorsement of the position of the new natural law theorists like Germain Grease, John Finnis, and E. Christian Brugger, who have long argued for such a reversal. Turner rejects this interpretation. In a letter announcing the change to the catechism, Cardinal Ladaria, prefect of the Congregation for the Doctrine of the Faith, stated that the reversal was not in contradiction with prior church teaching and instead reflected a change in historical circumstances. As Turner points out, he could have said that if the revision had been intended as an endorsement of the view of Greece, Finans, and Brugger, the past teaching was wrong, and thus the death penalty is intrinsically evil. So again, it was one of the long lines of Pope Francis just making comments and not really talking with the authority of the actual church position. There's then like Ed Fesser in his website. If you just type in on Google Edward Fesser death penalty, it'll be the first hit there. So I think, yeah, Classic Theist was talking about it recently, but yeah, Doug Ford, bring back old Sparky.
Bring back old Sparky, or as a certain British officer might like to say, you know, it's a short drop with a sharp stop.
I think Scalia wrote a good article on it back when Francis made the statement. Yeah, this was back in 2018. So Scalia, when did Scalia
died in 2016.
No, so it must have been prior
under
to that,
circumstances that may have I don't know. I'm always thinking to myself, like, how much of that rabbit hole do I want to go down?
Yeah.
The Hillary kill list. Da, 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 da. Oh man, to go back in time and to relive things that were. I'm so sorry for all the nonsense you have to deal with. We're
going back in time and reliving something tonight.
You remember? I remember. Speaking of remembering things,
you remember this?
You know, if it makes you feel any better, this is not going to be a article that's a million years long, where you and I are going to have to do 2 or 3 episodes to review it.
Yeah.
No, this is a short one. It blew up rather quickly on my Substack timeline because Substack has also decided to be like, hey, we're going to do Twitter, but this time with even more drama and the reply option. As you know, like the old YouTube days, there are a few things more chud coded than like having liked Dane Cook as a kid. I enjoyed Dane Cook when I was like 12.
My aunt did. I didn't.
They truly, that was a sign. I guess it was over for me in that regard. Lightning, in the same way that like I really enjoyed Robot Chicken as like a 14-year-old boy, and I look back on it now and I'm like, man, most of these jokes are terrible. Although
Oh,
I
yeah,
do
most
I do
definitely.
like, and I mean, this is how old it is that it had a whole, like, we were making fun of the prequels as they came out, like George W. Bush having midichlorians in his physical, and then just
Oh
fucking
yeah,
around as a
yeah.
Jedi. Yeah. So anyways, we're gonna kind of like just jump into it, and we'll be a little quick today on the gun. And
Unless you wanted to talk about the Young Republicans thing, but what's the Republican?
I will.
You're gonna have an article on it, so.
No, well, I have an article on the whole Nikita beer thing that comes out tomorrow.
Oh yeah.
With regards to like the Young Republican stuff, I may I remind myself that the difference between like a boys group chat versus a girls group chat name. The girls and then boys group chat names are like Brothers Against NATO, Guided by Allah, Inshallah. Like even my like non-overly online friends have an incredibly kind of like they're on Signal, so I guess leaking it wouldn't have to really come up to one of them to do it. But like they have a group chat where they just express like ridiculous memes, esoteric racism that they find on TikTok, and then like total pitbull death because one guy who posts under his real name on Facebook where he lives is a massive pitbull hater and like goes to every dog group in the county on Facebook just to talk about how pit bulls need to be like face summary execution. But then like but I mean, even then, like that's a totally different world than the one that you and I inhabit, right? But like, guys will get together and say the most insane shit possible. I think one, if it was leaked due to petty fighting and in squabbles, interfactional stuff and behind the scenes, one with Republicans like these who needs leftists, and then I think it's incredible that in this day and age we're going to try and tone police people for being edgy when my political opposition has basically learned that they can get away with killing somebody and face no consequence.
There was a guy that's going to be elected that talked about redacting Charlie Kirk's children, so I don't know about that.
Yeah, Jay Jones in Virginia. I don't think it was Kirk, but it was a Republican opponent. I think it was the Republican Speaker of the House in the Virginia House of Delegates that he had said that he would like to see a bullet in his children as well. And I mean, like that's not going to be condemned. So.
That guy, he looks like Tiger Woods, but like I'm not gonna say anything, but like no, I mean, like I said before we went live, this is a discussion. Like if you're worried about optics, this is always a discussion to have with your people, with your car, to quote prison lingo. Now that we're on the subject of prison and Old Sparky, it's not a discussion to sort of invite, the lore where you have to invite a vampire in to let the vampire in.
Yeah.
That's essentially what you're doing by leaking the group chat to Politico, to the mainstream media, is you are going over the head of people that have entrusted you as their leader, allegedly, and you are inviting a demon in, and you are making them cast moral judgment and perseverating over your people as young Republicans when this should be basically a matter for the privacy of one's own interpersonal relationships, to be like, okay, guys, we all know that people are in group chats that can leak things. Don't like really edgy post. Don't like, it's going to look bad, and kind of like tone it down with like, your infatuation with certain mid-century regimes. But this isn't something that you like go to the mainstream media over. This is something that you address in private, and you give people that you're with the dignity and the respect of that as it's worth. But to not do that means that, anyways, I'll say no more. But just like that, it's something that people should be handled privately. And to invite the mainstream media, it's not very good. It's not. It's if it is true that this was leaked, I mean, it probably is. Let's be real. It's very despicable and disgusting, and it there you go.
Yeah, I just think what a convenient thing to talk about when all of the emphasis has been on left-wing violence. And it's not going to overshadow what the administration had put out today, which was they gave the Presidential Medal of Freedom posthumously to Charlie Kirk, and then we had the Department.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they did. Today is Charlie Kirk's birthday. He would have been I think 32. And they so they had a little celebration in the White House lawn. They awarded it posthumously. I think they gave him. I think today is Charlie Kirk Day from the White House's presidential proclamation. So BTFO, George Floyd. Apparently, Kirk and Floyd shared the same birthday. So maybe I guess that makes that like Thomas Chatterton Williams article kind of like something. But even then, that guy's atrocious. Excuse me, evil. So I mean, at the end of the day, right? I'm always reminded of what's the word I'm looking for. There's this evergreen tweet where I'm reminded of that I think about all the time, where girls say they love a man who reads, but trust me, I know men who read, and they are into some frightening political literature.
I believe that was Boatsman, who's an irony leftist. Yeah.
Which, I mean, that may be the one funny tweet I've ever seen come out of an irony leftist, because that's how you know a man wrote it, because it was funny. But
to be fair, though, I do not endorse it. I think some women can be quite funny. If you look up Annie Hardy,
looks aren't everything, Gio.
No, but I shouldn't be that unfair.
I'm firmly in the Hitchens camp about this.
Yeah. No, Boatsman, I believe he's more of a parapolitics person than he is an irony leftist, but to clarify. But no, it's like, yeah, exactly, Sean. It's Omerta. 100%. But then what people want to talk about the Leafs? Do you want me to like subject myself to that?
You want to talk about hockey?
Well, let me just say that they've gone off to a less than stellar start. They did get goalied the other day by Cam Talbot, who I can't believe he's that good for 38 years old as a goaltender. They did get goalied, but at the same time, like, honestly, the performance by Nylander and Matthews has been atrocious. I knew that Cowan kid was going to be really good. And of course, Matthew Nyes overperformed, as he always does, because now Matthew Nyes is honestly the second coming of Darcy Tucker, and I love him so much. He's my favorite player, Matthew Nyes. But no, I mean, it's a terrible start for the Maple Leafs. And to be brutally honest, I mean, it's been a terrible start for the Vegas Golden Knights. So this whole narrative that, like, see, they're really missing Mitch Marner now. Like, it's not really true, because Marner has yet to make a significant difference on that line with Jack Eichel and the remaining guys that won the cup with them. But yeah, the Red Wings, I can't believe it. The Red Wings on paper is an inferior, except for like Patrick Kane and a few people. They're an inferior team on paper to the Maple Leafs. But the back-to-back losing to the Detroit Red Wings that is not the Red Wings of the mid-90s, it's unacceptable to me. And hopefully, I mean, I don't know the score right now, but hopefully tonight they could make the difference against the Nashville Predators, Michael Paul's favorite team.
The Nashville Predators.
Apparently, the Predators are doing quite good since they got Stamkos and a few other guys. But
well, we did this bit 100 episodes ago. At this point, what was our Goon remake called?
On Black Ice.
On Black Ice, the Carolina slasher story.
No, the Atlanta Thrashers.
Atlanta Thrashers story.
They're actually thinking of bringing back the Thrashers.
I need to go find that and clip that. I would love to start a DA clips channel.
Yeah, we have to. So a super fan has to do that. Yeah. You can get
like,
Mike to do
listen,
that.
buddy. Whoever starts the clips channel, if it ever gets monetized, you can keep the money. But
yeah,
like,
we don't care.
We don't care. But we would love to have a. We'd love to have a clips channel of dumb.
Yeah, like Nick Fuentes has hundreds of them.
Why do all the Jays suck so bad, Prude? Can we get a baseball take on the Jays? The Jays have not been good for a while. I'm not a Jays fan. I am a.
This has been the first good season since I was born. Basically.
Yeah, this is. No, but also, like, don't take my baseball takes for anything. I will watch any baseball game where it's either the Houston Astros playing or the Baltimore Orioles, and the Orioles have not been good for like 15 years. So I just go there. I just watch them because I have a nostalgic feeling, because I used to live near Baltimore as a kid.
When I was born, they dressed me up in a little Blue Jays outfit.
Whoa, you can't say that, YouTube man. So true. I don't even know what he means. Yeah. Baseball sells seething over hockey chats. I just never grew up with it or was exposed to it, which is really funny because so much of my family is from the Midwest.
Here, I'll send you a picture you could put up on screen.
Oh yeah, sure. Send it my way, Gio.
Okay, Prude.
Yeah.
Yeah, put this up on screen. Where is it?
Did you send it via Telegram or Twitter?
They
haven't been good for a while. You're Jay Spurging. Oh yeah. Don't do that. We're talking about sports.
No, the Blue Jay. When I was a little kid, the Blue
Oh,
Jays
send
won
it
the
to
World
me.
Series when I was first born, and when I was a baby, my parents dressed me up in a little Blue Jays uniform.
Aw.
But here's when I
Oh,
was
there we go.
here's when I was
Gio.
a kid.
Oh my god, that was you as a kid?
Yeah, yeah.
Hold on, can I open that in a tab? Oh, I can. Okay, hold on.
I was born into being disappointed. You'll see, guys. I was born into
Hold
this.
on. I gotta find a way. Let me go save this. I can't believe that's you as a kid. That looks nothing like you.
Really?
No,
Yeah.
I don't see it at all. Oh my god. All right, guys, you're in. This is some lore. Holy shit. Share screen.
Release the files, Gio.
Release the this is young Gio. Oh my god.
That's my Taidomi jersey.
Oh my god.
You notice the 20. You notice 28 there.
New
Yeah.
PFP just dropped. Oh, so true. How old were you? Like 10?
I think so. I was like 9. I was like 8 or 9 or 10. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
See, I was born into being disappointed as a sports fan.
So true.
That was my Taidomi jersey. Yeah. I still have it. It still hangs up in my weight room. Yeah. It gives me inspiration when I'm lifting weights.
Yeah, that is the face of a young Chuck. Like when they finally do the hit piece on you, Gio,
that's like
gonna
the
be
young
on
JD
there.
Vance picture. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
gonna be you. Oh my gosh.
I kind of look like Ethan Ralph and
Yeah,
JD
you
Vance
look
when
like
they
a
were kids.
baby-faced Ethan Ralph. I wasn't gonna say it, but like young Gio Groiper coming soon. So true, Stone Shape.
Have you seen the pictures of Ethan Ralph when he was a kid?
Look at that. That's the face of a kid who never learned how to ride a bike.
Oh,
So
man.
true.
I remember when Domi beat up the fan. Yeah, that was in Philadelphia. A fan jumped the glass broke because it used to be thinner near the penalty box, and Ty Domi had to like beat up this fan, and he was talking about how they were gonna sue everybody, but then he took the guy to dinner, and like they're gonna like sue the arena, they're gonna sue the Maple Leafs, but then he like got this guy like a primo deal. He like went to dinner with him. He got him tickets to the show. I mean to the game, and all was forgiven. So there you go. It's fucked up. He's a kid who gets stuck in the tubes.
You can do it, Gio. Dave Mustaine learned late too.
Yeah.
And our friend Last Things has reposted the stream. Have you recorded your movie show yet with him?
Not yet. I have to pick. I'll pick a date soon. I've been neglecting it, but I don't know if I should do The Beautiful Troublemaker, if I should do Johnny 316, the Vincent Gallo film.
Oh, you should do a Vincent Gallo film.
Yeah, I'm gonna do Johnny.
I've kept in tradition where I've made Last Things watch a Japanese film like 2 years in a row now.
Yeah, me too. Like we watched Shichi the Killer last year.
And the only thing that we took, this is not a spoiler for the film, but the only takeaway was at the end of our review, like Last Things turns to me and he's just like, "Well, Prude, I think to be poignant as you are at the end of all your streams, I think that we should just go to Japan together and find these nice Japanese toilet and take a giant shit in them." And that's exactly how things left off.
Gio pretending he's not been practicing his Vincent Gallo impression for months.
See, that's true. Send Gio $1,000 for him so he can buy a bike and learn how to ride it.
Oh, that's like my interview with Kino Corner. He talked about him and Ariel Pink. They went to a screening of The Brown Bunny, and they couldn't. It was some like libtard theater in LA, and so they didn't have the Vax pass. But then Vincent Gallo, he like came out and like created a distraction for them by signing autographs. And in the back, Vincent Gallo, he's like, "Listen, guys, if I knew that they were gonna do this to you, I wouldn't have had in this theater. It's fucking bullshit. I don't have my vax. I mean, if I knew this, I wouldn't have let them do this." That was great. Yeah,
so true.
So proving that Kino Corner and Ariel Pink are not vax heads. Unlike some people we know. So, wait, did you get approved for your job?
Did I get what?
The vax?
No.
Oh, yeah, you got the antibodies. That's right.
I got antibody treatment because I got the coof like 6 months after my transplant. And that's the only reason why I got access to the antibodies so fast that I did, because Dallas County is during COVID had a racial triage system in place for their monoclonal antibody treatments. So yeah,
Yeah.
I did not get it. I was a pure
Yeah, me
I
neither.
remained a pure blood in that regard.
I had it twice and didn't do anything. So, anyways, let's move on to terrible time to a slightly less terrible time. Unless you wanted to talk about your two-part article that came out a few weeks ago.
Well, I think it speaks for itself. I'm pretty happy with it.
Yeah, pull up your Substack.
Normie sadism, normie extremism. The last thing I have on my Substack is from myself. Why can I not? There we go. Yeah, I just put out an article like 5 days ago. I went to a indie film review and went from there. Yeah, apparently people on Substack really do enjoy the timeline aspect of it all. So you can go find me on Twitter at the Prudentialist. But
I'm having a brain fart. Who's Joe Rogan's assistant?
Jamie.
Jamie, pull up the Substack.
Jamie, pull up that Substack. Jamie, why? Hey, boss, why are you subscribed to? Who's Richard Hanania? Jamie, pull that guy up. Oh my God.
You know what's crazy? They're trying to revive Brianna. Speaking of GamerGate, they're trying. Oh, I noticed the title is "The Gamer Economy." Is last time
the game economy.
Yeah. No, they're trying to revive Brianna Wu now. Like, there's a bunch of these like these Substack writers, like these rationalist adjacent types. But I think they're kind of like.
I like how the teapot guys are like, "Hey, you remember all the worst people from 10 years ago?
Yeah.
What if we brought them back?"
Yeah, Brianna Wu's got such sensitivity and creativity, and this one post is gushing over Brianna Wu. I'm like, what are you doing?
Oh, that's so cruel. Jamie, push back his hairline.
No, but I saw that they're like
Jamie Norwood, this man.
Hanania and a bunch of them, they're making this like inroad into like re-opticking Brianna Wu from like the left me, but not really. It's a very
the
strange...
left me because they're not elite human capital like I am.
Yeah. It's like, okay, do you disagree with the left on anything? No. Oh, except for the Zionism thing. That's about it. That's the only thing that shocker! The only thing Brianna Wu disagrees with the left on.
Wow, no way, tree surgeon, no way.
Already, Adam and
Jarvis,
I haven't heard that name in like 3 years.
I haven't thought about them either, not since Dave Green argued with them and then did a reading of the Gods of the Copybook headings as an answer to Adam and Sitch. Janny, pull down that Substack. Janny, take down that Twitter.
What did you say? I have to read the second part of that.
Well, that was written by a friend of mine who goes by Monroe Star, although I know he's a Twitter mutual of you and I. So yeah. Norwood 5. What? Give it up, Jamie. Give it up, Jamie. Yeah, Dave does have the patience of a saint, but also I understand that those are his people. So
they're also ripping into Barry Weiss for being the head of was it NBC or CBS?
CBS News, I believe, she's now the editor in chief, and she's not that good. I went.
What a terrible time though, like to put Barry Weiss in that position. Like, what a terrible like tone deaf time to like put Barry Weiss in there. It's like,
yeah, I mean,
I saw like Blue Sky leftists complaining about it, but honestly, like not that I agree with Blue Sky leftists, but like they kind of are correct. Like it's a terrible time to like elevate Barry Weiss into that position.
Jamie's like 55. It's crazy. I hope he's paid well. That's wild.
Yeah, he's got to be paid well.
I would hope so to stick around that long. I had no idea. Oh yeah, you can stream raid Dave tonight. Well, Dave, fucker. I love you, Dave. But yeah, it's my hour. So we'll go from here. And we'll go pull up the article. So,
all right.
It's a short one. This will not take 3 or 5 episodes to do. Where is it? So share screen. So Billionaire Psycho, our friend Fugitive Caesar on Twitter, is a great guy, good friend.
Tom Brady 5, I think.
Tom Brady 5, THOM Brady 5. So we're gonna go zoom in real quick, and we'll just carry right along reading. For more layouts, I don't need that. Can you stream Dave in the bottom subway surfers style? No. We will not.
Yeah, someone's like listening to us on the computer and then listening to Dave on their phone, trying to like pick apart.
Yeah,
I've done that before. I've listened to a Twitter space while also like watching something on YouTube or whatever. I've done
I mean, I've listened to live streams whilst like gaming or whatever, or when I'm writing something.
yeah.
Getting to an article in under an hour. What show am I watching? I'm trying not to do a 3 + 3 hour stream
On the
because,
news.
yeah, well, that too. I wanted to have something planned. The Bible in Chinese in 1 ear, 2 times speed, and then like Mozart. Oh man, did you see that they're remaking Amadeus?
Oh yeah, I saw that. I
What
didn't
an
watch the
insult to God.
That's like literally the perfect movie. Why would you remake it?
Yeah, it's the perfect. Like the original Amadeus is perfect.
Yeah.
There doesn't need to.
They're probably gonna desecrate it. Let's be real.
Yeah, and I mean, I like Paul Bettany as an actor, and I'm sure he'll do fine as Salieri. But there is no need to remake that film.
Yeah.
Like Amadeus is a timeless classic. You do not need to. It's a little tone deaf. I mean, speaking of music, I mean, like it's just blatantly tone deaf in the midst of all these things that we're gonna. Yeah, it's gonna be Amadeus. Yeah, I agree.
Oh my chaos.
Amadeus.
But anyway.
But yeah, Amadeus is perfect. Is a perfect film. From the motorboating all the way down to symphonic composing. So, anyways, this is from Billionaire Psycho. This came out just a few days ago, 4 days ago, and we'll start along. So he says, "GamerGate, the most important event you are not allowed to publicly discuss," which feels strange to talk about 10 years later. Although I quote tweeted or I quote posted this.
It brought us all here.
I quote tweeted it saying, like, whoever writes the book on this issue will be like the Gibbon of internet politics. He may not be right about everything. Gibbon certainly wasn't, but he was certainly the first. And I think that those firsts need to be written. So he says, no force on earth can stop an idea whose time has come. Victor Hugo. Our society, after all, operates on guilt, which often serves only to obscure its real workings and to prevent obvious solutions. Frank Herbert, Dune Genesis.
Game over.
Game over.
What video
GamerGate
is that from?
Which one?
What's that screen from Game Over? Is that from Mario or from?
That's a good question.
Donkey
I'll
Kong?
go open that image in a new tab in a second. Figure it out.
Yeah.
But anyways, he says, GamerGate is maybe the most important event of the past 20 years, which never receives mainstream media coverage. Lomez will be publishing an in-depth history of GamerGate. Well, I'll be damned. I guess Lomez is writing the book. To serve as an official record going forward. And that's a crucial part of building a foundation for a new culture, fighting the narrative war over how history is remembered and how history is interpreted, what events are recognized as significant and influential moments in culture, and how Western identity is defined. Well, I guess I probably will have to buy the Lomez book when it comes out. I'm very curious to see how he catalogs it.
Oh, you know what's a great piece of GamerGate? You know how like David.
I hope he spends the time to interview all the old heads.
Yeah. But like what David Serini tried to do before he got snaked by Jordan Owen. No, because it's funny because a lot of the old heads got their YouTube channels back, except for Nick Fuentes and Alex Jones. And David Serini got his channel back and he starts to make videos again. The first video back, he actually says immersed in subversion. And I'm like, oh, he said the thing. And I'm like, that was like such a fiasco. But it's funny. Like, I admire David Serini for having like that levity to like make fun of, like, you know, to make fun of the whole thing because that documentary didn't pan out the way it was supposed to. And it was kind of funny, like hearing him actually say it. Maybe we should interview David Serini.
I'm not opposed if you can grab
I
him.
can get him. Yeah, I told him. Like, I can.
Then
get
yeah,
him.
sure, why not? I don't have a
do
problem
it.
with that.
Yeah.
That'd be a heck of a get,
Oh yeah.
just for history purposes alone.
Well, now he's back on YouTube, so it's copacetic.
Oh, well, then even better. Carrying on, he says, GamerGate was only possible because a generation of incompetent leftists inherited an empire built on propaganda that came without a legible instruction manual. Leftists forgot how to run their imperial machine. Video games sedated young white men, funneling their energy into a simulation of achievement and illusory power fantasy of digital significance. Leftists forgot that porn, video games, movies, junk food, and other passive consumption activities primarily existed to prevent young white men from doing anything useful with their lives.
Mm-hmm.
And this zone of sedation was viewed as another industry to conquer so that DEI activists could bully the video game industry and providing overproduced elites with fake jobs.
Well, like I said before, in the early 2000s, you had this conglomeration of like video games, metal music, pornography, pro wrestling. They all sort of like blended into like one unique chud culture. Like they would have the video game awards where you had like, you know, they'd have like a ring, they'd do like a spot match. I think like Rey Mysterio was in one of them. you'd have like Sasha Grey and other porn stars. Like, it really was like a chud culture moment. And I mean, to come out with a gate with that, I think is a fair critique, because I mean, you'd get crucified if you were to say this like on Twitter or whatever. But it is true that video games, unfortunately, was the main sort of like soma or like lotus flower for a lot of young men to sort of like, to not like get the, but then unfortunately, like that sort of backfired, because then, as this article explained, like video games became the conduit of the very like ideological beast that like mainstream society wanted to hide away from, like young men in particular. So yeah.
It's quite it's certainly wild to think about like what an industry this was. Like, it's hard to tell young people that there was a time on television when you could go to like G4 and it was just, this NBC channel that you would just cover for video games.
Yeah.
And it was from 2002 and it ran for about a decade and it finally died in 2014. But like, that was the way it went. And it was just kind of wild that almost one out of every other household in America was watching or had access to this TV show. And so, I mean, it ran for, I'm sure it ran for like 23 years or whatever, if you want to say, when it was launched. But I mean, it ran really for about a decade and then it died. And it's just kind of crazy to think about the fact that this was the network in which you would get all your news. And like, this is where you would get really interesting interviews from developers and artists and, game project directors and where things were going. Like, if it wasn't on E3 or was it at some major games convention, like you were going to get interesting news on G4. Yeah. And for a lot of guys who love the wonderful world of, like long form video game retrospectives, there are a lot of interviews from G4 that have all this, but also there was sex appeal to it. It took very much from like the WWE kind of style of sex appeal, testosterone, like everything that you would associate with the chud gamer culture of a decade ago, or even 10 years prior after that in the early 2000s. That was the place to be. And it's kind of wild to think about it. Like, there's a kid out there named Dovahkiin whose parents were promised to get like every new Bethesda release for free. I'm wondering how that deal's playing out for that kid, or if he's legally changed his name since. But it really does kind of speak to how much has changed, because nowadays, like, we've reverted back, at least for me, I've reverted back to just relying on word of mouth. Like, if a friend tells me something is good, or if a friend tells me that this is interesting, then I'm going to do it. Like, for instance, like Capitalissimo, our mutual friend, he is the guy who sends me recommendations, or he'll message me on Telegram. He'll just be like, "Hey, does this look good to you?" And I'll look at it and I'll see it, and I'm like, maybe not. But at the same time, I wouldn't have bought Remnant 2 and played it 100% completion if not for him playing co-op. It's a lot of fun. So it's just it's a different time, because nowadays the passive consumption is now watching people play, and not, or even like the esports stuff. But even then, that's relatively died, because this entire environment and ecosystem has become so thoroughly politicized.
Yeah, like Sean Weiland said, the National Network, Spike TV. Yeah, Spike TV was
that too.
You had like a whole block. You had like Monday Night Raw, then they had TNA. Then you have like MXC. Then you'd have like the Ultimate Fighter, and so like it was like really they had other shows too that were very controversial nowadays. Like, if people remember, they had that one animation show with Pamela Anderson. Like, it's just stuff like, it was surreal actually looking back on it. And like Sean Weiland said, it was like the Great Awakening in 2014 onwards. It was like a total cultural revolution. All of like early 2000s chud culture just had to disappear for their project. Yeah, 1,000 Ways to Die. That was another one. I think what was the Warrior versus Warrior? I think that was Discovery. Yeah, the Ultimate.
Yeah, that was. Well, there was Deadliest Warrior.
Deadliest Warrior. That's what. Yeah, it was.
No, that was on Spike TV though.
Oh, was that on Spike TV?
Yeah, it was Paramount. That was Spike TV.
Yeah, Stripperella. That was a show. It was an atrocious show, but like, Yeah,
Well, this
yeah.
is why 30 Rock is such a timeless parody for when it was around, because the shows that they would make fun of were on TV. And, you know, it only took, what, a decade, plot, maybe 15 years after 30 Rock went off the air that you have the equivalent of MILF Island on TV. We're like, hey, man, anything's possible. Like, hyperstition is real, and you can speak things into being, which is terrifying to think about. So we'll carry on here. The event was important for several reasons. One, GamerGate exposed American Sharia laws. There's our start. It unveiled the shibboleths, religious taboos, and blasphemy codes that were considered more important than constitutional protections on free speech. A gulf emerged between written laws and selective enforcement. Classic anarcho-tyranny. GamerGate was maybe the first time in 50 years that leftists suffered a real, measurable defeat. Did they, though? I think this is always the fundamental thing I come to, because, like, in terms of the games industry, the hell they didn't. Games progressively got worse. The hope for the indie renaissance never really came. Because it's always another fucking like Deltarune clone or whatever, and it's like, oh, it's like another Depression Quest 2.0.
Or you have like, you know, people that take pills,
and doing their own version of Cruelty Squad, but it's like
like
even
that
more
one where
coded.
it's like this red and black and white one that people were bombing on the other day.
Yeah,
it's all the same. It's like mass shooters. That's like you're taking revenge on society. And it's like you're powering up with soda.
Well, and I just think to myself, wow, like I understand, like if you took like the Tumblr fandom of like 10 years ago for Dylan and Eric, but then you put all those guys on HRT and told them how to code, like this is what you would get as a product.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Is how do I recreate Columbine, but I'm also like taking like mind-altering substances like HRT.
It's like the left-coded Columbine video, like school shooter games. Like that's what it is. Didn't someone try to come out with a Columbine game, but they got banned by the federal government?
There's a long history of people making things related to that 1999. There are plenty of Doom wads that are out there for those interested. Not to mention,
there was a Columbine Doom wad, and
wads that they had made and played.
Yeah, and someone tried to release the Eric Harris Doom wads, and I think they got doxxed. And they got like hauled into court or something like that. I know that recently.
I know that you can find them and play them. I don't want to be put on a list even more than I already am.
Of course, no, but I know that recently, a few years ago, they like incinerated a lot of evidence from Columbine, including Dylan Klebold's Tech 9. But I know, like, because there's like, I mean, Catherine.
Because there's no way in hell you can sell any of that at a police auction. Like...
Oh, obviously, yeah. No, but I know that Kat made her bones once years ago on an article about Columbiners, and it's very.
I think that article of hers was the first time I had ever heard of her.
Yeah,
I think it's a lot of people's first exposure to her was that and her Adam Lanza pieces.
Yeah. No, but yeah. So I think like there was the America's Sharia law. Like the Columbine thing. It is very not funny, but it's very interesting how you have a lot of these Cruelty Squad clones, and they have, I think. They're all reliant upon the same principle of cute aggression. Like, I'm this like badass, edgy trans alt girl, but also I'm like killing chuds, and I'm like, I'm doing the soda power ups and.
Well, this is the premise that Monroe and I made with the whole normie sadism, normie extremism thing, is because for the last 10 years since GamerGate, and really even before then, with like the history, the hauntology of the post-war order, is that we functionally live in a society where normie sadism applies to like prison gang rape, and it applies to anyone remotely right-wing. Like that's it. And that's the only acceptable thing in which you can, attack people for, because that's what's considered morally correct and what you should be doing. And that's the only way in which we're ever going to, get the population to be assuming like this is the right thing to do because it's morally correct because the guy on TV said so. Like when I see like non-Americans or non-Westerners tweet out, like American Twitter be like, Luffy would punch J.K. Rowling and Israel and you would be so owned. And it's like, yeah, probably, like, because that's where we
Yeah.
get our more morality from for a lot of people.
There
But
will
because
be, there probably will be like a Doom, or like there will be some like shittily made first person shooter where you're assassinating Charlie Kirk. I can imagine this being
I'm sure it
made.
already exists if you go
Yeah.
look for it. I mean, it's the same way in which there was that dumb shooter called Relooted, where it's like in this Afrofuturist setting where you steal all the things from the Imperial Museum. I'm like, cool, just so the Muslims in Africa can like destroy it later. So cool. Thanks so much. But nevertheless, like culturally, like, yes, it did spur on a sort of political awakening that I don't think they've ever been able to turn the spigot off of. There may go using those hydrology references.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like the games industry is so
Yeah.
permanently fucked.
The material goals of GamerGate failed. Yeah.
Materially, like, yes, like the gaming is now a pretty left-wing institution to where now all your cool speedrunners are troons, but like at the same time,
No, but the industry itself is not changed. It's still,
well, the industry itself has radically changed because you're not, things have bloated. There are more people working on games now than ever. Like game budgets
Right.
are increasing to a point where like the usual $60 price tag is no longer the expected norm, because now it's like everyone's kind of waiting for there's a lot of talk in the industry where a lot of people are like, yeah, we're just kind of waiting for GTA 6 to drop so all the rest of the industry can feel comfortable raising the average game price from 60 to $100.
Oh, God.
And I'm like, okay, fine, so be it. Right? Like there are games I've paid for that are certainly I paid more than $60 for, but like I also came in.
Why would you pay $60?
Because I wanted to, because I got like a physical copy of like the soundtrack.
I just know, but to me that's insane. Like people.
Well, also keep in
Yeah.
mind, like the price for an average AAA game has stayed more or less the same for like the last 15 years.
Yeah.
So I like the offsetting of costs has gone through other ways, which is why you've seen like microtransactions and the rest. But also everything nowadays is a live service product anyway. Like there is no such thing as a boxed product anymore. And the last boxed product, I mean, you can't even really buy boxed products. It's just going to give you a digital code to install on your fucking PC or console. So like for soundtrack stuff, I've paid money to have like actual like CDs or a vinyl press of a game soundtrack. I won't say which one, although I'm pretty sure the audience will figure it out eventually. But like it goes this way just because like what else are you going to really do with it in terms of price wise? But things are already a fucking disaster. But we'll keep going. Let's see here. It functioned as a generational awakening, a catalyst that activated a decentralized army of shitposters, bloggers, podcast streamers, and right-wing activists. And it mapped out in real time the architecture in an OODA loop of leftist hive mind, providing empirical data on how swarm intelligence perceives, coordinates, reacts, and propagates and suffers damage. It educated critics of the hegemonic monoculture that rules the global American empire. But I think the most of GamerGate was that it disproved the narrative illusion that everyone more or less accepted as conventional wisdom, the bedrock of the uniparty worldview. Before GamerGate, it was taken as self-evident that America was a capitalist country and that all the evil of the world was caused by Wall Street corporations chasing shareholder value and advancing the profit motive. Capitalism and racism were the invisible demons which could be used as scapegoats for anything bad that ever happened at any point and at any place in American society. I think that kind of is a little reductive, but okay. Leftism could do anything it wanted, no matter how dumb, destructive, intrusive, or evil, then blame capitalism and racism for the consequences. That illusion was shattered by GamerGate. Video game companies did everything they could to lose money, contaminate their product, obliterate their brand's reputation, disrespect both their most loyal fans and their most numerous customers, all part of a desperate, unrewarded attempt to cater to promiscuous, mentally ill attention whores who did not even enjoy video games. That's true.
Yeah, like they really burned through a lot of their good faith and a lot of fan appeal, and the thesis that like capital is strictly a money making. Well, I mean it is, but the thesis that like this is when woke capital became a very big concept. The fact that they were willing to lose so much money over a political agenda was not within an older like Friedrich Hayek libertarian schema, that they would adjust accordingly. They would, like in recent years, I noticed that corporations, like especially with Trump's election, they'll kind of adjust a little bit, where they'll give you the illusion that they're apolitical, or they'll give you the illusion that they're making like sly chud references. But I highly doubt the sort of, the good faith that they have, that, you can have your base slop too. That's like kind of, we preached about this on the show many a time. That's sort of an illusion. And I think it's a face saving measure. But during the 2010s, I remember like a lot of these, Mr. Medicare had a video that I think was one of his more significant works that were covered over by like the more bombastic topics he was covering.
Yeah.
He called it replacement theory, where they would essentially take a small minority of ideologically aligned people with the game devs, and they would insert them into the fan base, or they would only choose to listen to those voices above the vast majority of the sort of mostly young men that were playing these video games. And that's how they slowly started to work in an ideological narrative. And I think Gamergate was interesting in the sense that it was purely grassroots, as I said in my review of it back in the summer on Content Minded. There was a lot of people that were not, that in recent years would, after the 2010s, would never like really truly align with each other ever again. Like there's that famous or infamous video where it was that song, what's that song like? We'll Never Meet Again, that one?
Yeah.
And it's like all of these figures from like Baked Alaska, Sargon, Milo, Ethan Ralph, and then they had like Ashton Birdie, Mikey and Hawk, like Shoe on Head, Lauren Southern,
But I also think to myself that I'm in the wrong line of work when I think about like, man, I should really not be. Maybe I should do something different. Maybe I should like start a second channel and just start ranting into the mic and just start bitching about things. Because I think about how wild sub stuff is on Twitter or on YouTube, and I think about this thumbnail at least once a week. And this video has not been out for very long. I think about this is a review for Halo Infinite, and I think about this quite often. I think about this thumbnail at least once a week.
No, but like 10 years ago, could a thumbnail like that?
Oh God, no! Are you kidding?
Views?
No,
Like, are you kidding me?
Probably not. Probably
Who's
not.
Master Cheeks? Who is Master Cheeks?
I think he's British or Australian. Some guy who just like review. I think he's in Britain.
And he hasn't gone to knock on the door yet?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking to myself. How has this guy not gotten a knock on the door
like,
from His Majesty's government?
But you know what's funny is that even like normie TikTokers know about these memes. And like I've seen leftists say those two words. Like it's crazy because of the whole like October 7th thing, obviously.
Yeah,
but, like,
yeah.
No, but I was saying like there's radically different people that nowadays like they all hate each other, from like Fuentes to Brittany Pettibone to like Lauren Southern and Shoe on Head. Although Shoe on Head, I think she's gone back to being a right winger. Like it's just so funny how
she's just stayed as her usual self.
Yeah. Like all of these people, they never really had a lot of things in common ideologically, but Gamergate, they're all like subsumed in this one template of Gamergate. Like I think even like the OG alt-right was like around at that time, and so therefore, they get like millennial woes will get like thrown in with Sargon, even though like a millennial, if you remember back in the day, was like, I think when Gamergate was starting to wane a bit around like 2018, they had that like that famous debate of millennial. Like it is kind of like nostalgic remembrance, but it is like really insane looking back on it. How like people on the political right that are like fringe and don't really like each other, they all sort of like rallied around this one thing, video games. And like it's just it's something, when you think about it, it's very crazy. It's very crazy when you think about it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, it is kind of strange because, like you had mentioned, like we even see left-wing talking points like utilize right-wing memes. Like even like the DSA, I think,
you're using Pepe now.
Not even just Pepe, but they were also posting about how like, oh, what radicalized you, and they're using the same kind of Chad imagery that we kind of take advantage or take for granted. Like, oh, like I know where this is from. And it's like, why are you using it? You would disavow this stuff just a matter of years ago, had you finally realize that this has cultural pull and dominance, and it's particularly depressing to think that like this is where we're going. It's like, oh,
it's
so
kind of like distant slop. Let's be
like,
real.
oh, we're just reusing things because we've accepted that this is the most effective like moniker or medium of communication. Which, okay, like if it is, fine, I don't have a problem with that. It's just, I think it also kind of illustrates a great degree of like, I don't want to say degeneration, but I think in some instances it is, because it's like, well, the way that we're going to communicate now is going to be explicitly around just like almost like pictographic, like yes,
dissident
and.
slop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you're left using the language of like 15 years ago forever,
Yeah.
which is kind of crazy to think about.
No, but that's what I mean. Like, in like a bad side to it is that it is very easily co-opted, and but at the same time, I think that memes are ever present and ever changing, and so there will always be new ones down the pipe. But at the same time, like that's just like the Bojardian process of culture, of simulacra.
Yeah.
Is that like they will change and contort to where the actual meaning and referent and the signified as opposed to the signifier, they become the predominant template of culture. And the actual signified, like we're just talking about signifiers. Like Pepe the Frog and Wojak and like saying that particular word slop, you know, the word in the beginning, I'm not going to say it, but like that's become like totally, and you know, there are events like October 7th or like post GamerGate or
that
like,
do change the.
Yeah. What were you gonna say, Prude?
I said that they do, like, it changes the meme space a little bit, but like even then you're still using yesterday's language to communicate a point.
Yeah, and then sort of the original referent just loses all meaning. And I think like it's that in itself also becomes a question of if there really is original culture being created on the internet, or if it is just derivative of the same template of memes that if you remember, like I mentioned at the beginning of the show, like these like one meme sites like Cheeseburger Network, like Wojak and Pepe, no, not Pepe, but like because Pepe has like a creator and everything, but like Wojak, all of those derivatives come from a derivative of Rage comics that were like in the mid 2000s. And that and Rage comics themselves were derivative of earlier internet memes. And it's like we keep, like the soy fixation really fell off at 4chan banned the word. No, but exactly. Now we're saying slop, and then you know people will grow tired of that, and then we'll find something else to use. Maybe gruel will be the next word. I don't know. Like it's just there is sort of like as much as we like to think that on the internet we sort of are these unique forerunners of culture, and that there's this like organic bastion of original culture, cultural imagery being created that the mainstream doesn't possess, and that eventually the memes will like leak into the real world, and media will start using it, legacy media, I mean. But that's just not true, because we're also derivative of ourselves. And I think that in a lot of ways, and it's, you know, especially like on the right, I hate to say it, there is like this talk of a cultural omnipotence that maybe is kind of vastly overstated. And but then you never know, because there's always new memes being created, even if they are derivative. And it's just it goes on forever. And I think Gamergate was sort of like a singular. I know it sounds kind of stupid saying this, but like Gamergate kind of was a singularity event in this regard, because now you have an emerging industry, because let's face it, 15 years ago, video games were an emerging industry relative to legacy media that was, you know, that did capture the attention of the youth like nothing else. It's sort of, it kind of is like a woke more, Craig. It's sort of like when Bob Chipman has that book where he talks about the console wars being like his Vietnam. It's like, yeah, that's kind of correct in a weird, fucked up way. You know, like, maybe because we're not Gen Xers, me and you, and we don't like realize how significant that was. But, you know, I remember like when I was younger in high school, and the console wars was like PlayStation 3 versus Xbox 360, and every fucking
I remember
day,
those days. Like, and now that's effectively died.
Yeah, that's dead now because everyone has a Steam Deck. But like, it's just like I remember every day.
Not even that. Just it's
They don't buy physical discs anymore, Prude?
Well, they don't make that anymore. I mean, most games nowadays are just downloadable. And even when
Wow.
I mean, there are some. I mean, like there's still some discs, but even then, like there's the amount of space on that disc is also going to be equally downloaded in like a day one patch or whatever, because that's just the expectation. That's the model. Like, there's not going to be a complete game on a disc anymore, just because it's not required at this point.
That's crazy. I didn't know that.
Like right now, like, I mean, the stuff that I've installed on my computer, like, it's interesting too, because for instance, like, here, let me go separate my let me go to my library, and I'm going to sort it by size on disk. So the largest game that I have on my disk or my hard drive that I still play, or that's just sorted by size on disk, is Helldivers 2, right? Helldivers 2 is 141.51 gigabytes, according to what I have here on Steam. That's unfathomably huge. And Arrowhead Studios has basically said, listen, the only reason why it's like that is because we still have people that play with hard drives, and not everyone just has a game loaded up on an SSD. And that's sort of the way that things are changing for quote-unquote optimization purposes. And I mean, if that's the case, so be it. It's not like, let me go find an older game that I quite enjoy that's like very... that's more modern, quote unquote, that's not as that was a disked product for sure, like Metro 2033. You know, like the Redux version is like 7.81 gigs, but like I have the disc original of that for the Xbox 360, and I don't remember how large the Xbox 360 discs were to hold data in space. But like, if you didn't have an internet connection, like there were still games that you could play offline. That's basically all but died, because you have to be on the internet to get a patch or things that get fixed. So the system and the gaming industry itself has radically changed for how things are modeled. Yeah.
Holy crap!
You remember this, folks?
Yeah.
I feel old.
All
2015.
right.
Good God. So here we go. People didn't have the words to define what they were seeing. Let me go. Yeah, we're sharing this, right? Yeah, sharing this tab of StreamYard. Okay. So, people didn't have the words to define what they were seeing. In retrospect, America has been ruled since World War II by the slow creeping religion of gay race communism, which is the belief that hierarchy is evil, white men is evil, civilization is oppressive, technology is sinful, criminals are sacred, and those ugly and unhappy people in the world need to be given moral and legal authority to use the global American empire to terrorize anyone they dislike, which includes everyone. These maladjusted misfits also hate themselves, and they find that at all costs, humanities must be repurposed in the pursuit of racial, sexual, and financial egalitarianism. This is a religion. Many of the things we've heard before. And specifically, it is a religious jihad, an all-consuming moral crusade which desires to conquer the world and to force everyone to bow and worship the idols of gay race communism. If GRC succeeded in conquering the world, the next step would be to fight a brutal series of endless civil wars and internal purges, persecuting anyone who seemed to lack enthusiasm for the eternal project of reshaping humanity into something inhuman. Freedom at all costs, liberation from reality itself. An impossible dream, but that is certainly the whole point. Boy, oh boy, is that certainly still happening now.
Yeah.
What's the famous tweet that you and I like to cite all the time? You can be on the left and have disagreements about...
tweet.
Yeah. How's it go, Gio?
You can be on the left and have economic disagreements, but you can't disagree with race idolatry, transgenderism, what else? Yeah.
Or even capitalism.
Yeah, you can be like a bloodthirsty capitalist on the left and it wouldn't matter. Yeah.
But if you disagree on like race or blacks or transgender people, then like you're effectively persona non grata is how the tweet goes. And I mean, that's fundamentally, I mean, those purges are still happening even today. Like October 7th really also did kind of like change how that framework is played out now.
Mm-hmm.
And
well, I think that, I mean, that's obviously been a major source of complication for them. They've tried to find ways around it, but it's not like it was before. But what was I going to say? Our enemies are ridiculous. Who said this in the chat? Our enemies are ridiculous. Are being welcome to speak at the UN. Very radicalizing moment. The biggest idiots that you can think of, or like also my way of telling people how long it's been is I like the old Ben Garrison comic. I guess it was commissioned or whatever.
of Anita calling Carl Benjamin like a piece, like a shitty human being
Yeah.
at VidCon 2017.
Garbage
2017,
human. Garbage human.
2017 was almost 10 years ago.
Whoa.
So I want that to settle in. It was 8 years ago, but it feels like a million, doesn't it? Even talking about this feels like it's a million years old. There's the Christian Heinz tweet, or Heinz. A lot of people like him on Twitter. He says, progressivism is not a set of policies or a collection of political arguments. The entire thing is one giant metaphysical claim about the nature of humanity, society, morality, power, identity, and even reality itself. It tolerates zero dissent and treats any opposition the way Islam treats apostasy, because it is a fundamentalist religion with a totalizing worldview, and the only thing that you can do in response to its insane demand is to beg to be left alone. Then you deserve to lose. As a nastier, tougher left-wing politics is what I'm after. Kinder and gentler didn't work. You were neither kind nor gentle, and you still lost. You were experiencing the consequences of that. Who doesn't love a good old Howling Mutant tweet? Dr. 17th century shite poster, DDS. You can't return any more than the right can return to Rome or the founding fathers. The only way forward is through to what the right plus left offers next. That's why those who the highest yearning is girl bosses plus black street fashion will always submit to the left-wing 20th century thought. Noah Smith. That's a god-awful person. 20th century liberalism's promise of equality was a Pandora's box. They were sure that it had something great in it, so they opened it. Whoops, equality failed. Total car crash. We can't return to the ideal where it didn't destroy itself in flame. Girl bosses are dead as the idea is blacks are still cool. You can only hang on to these things as long as you're willing to defend them, for which 2013 liberals was literally no time at all. I can barely stay on the right side of the revolution here. Liberals' gamble was that in the face of leftist revolution, the right would continue to lose. And honestly, it was a smart gamble. The right, with rare moments, always had. Then, with shocking abruptness, the 20th century the left had grown used to came to an end. 20th century liberalism has come to an end because of a lot of things. I don't think GamerGate is like this. I think it will. Honestly, I think because we have it in living memory, we're blowing it up more than it is.
Oh, of course, we lived through it. Yeah.
We did. But it begs an interesting question to me: is how much of this will even matter in a few years?
I mean, it has had a staying power for at least 10 years.
Yeah.
Like it has been able to capture people's imaginations, but in terms of
I think that's the question that really needs to be asked: is how long will this last? Like this narrative, or will we use a different one in the future?
Well, it's been like we're halfway through the decade almost, and we still haven't. It used to take only a few years to climb yourself out of the previous decade, because decades seem to have accelerated. I mean, that's like boomer youth culture time. Obviously, like when they say about how the 60s and 70s and the 80s, they're all fundamentally different. The 1990s with Gen Xers. But it took like a few years. Like 1971, I think, was probably the radical break with the 60s. And when you were in like the early 90s, you were still kind of in the 80s, right? But now it's like we're almost 5. It's like a few months away. It's 3 months away from 2025. And it's kind of like we still, I mean, apart from Clownvid and a few other things, we still kind of are in the 2010s. Like we still are maybe like, has music and culture really and video games, have they like really fundamentally changed in 5 years from the 2010s? I mean, it's not really true. Like, it seems that the reason GamerGate still has this like mythical staying power 10 years on is because we haven't truly left the world that GamerGate purported to rebel against. And I mean, in the future, is anyone going to know who like Lauren Southern or Ethan Ralph or whoever?
Or even you and I.
Yeah, or even you and I, like in 20, 25 years. I mean, hopefully, maybe. In some cases, maybe not. But like, no, it's just like we do live in like a very like ontological type of time. And because people don't remember that Ethan Ralph, like the Ralph retort actually was a very big and important node at one point for GamerGate. People don't remember this because like other figures like Internet Aristocrat, Mr. Medicare, and Sargon and Milo, they've become like, they were the figureheads, and like Steven Crowder was there, Christina Hoff Summers. What has she done in like 10 years?
I can't think of anything.
Yeah, like, I mean,
that's not a name that triggers is relevant at all to me.
Yeah, and then you had certain like Manosphere people like Karen Strawn who are involved with it. But as a whole, though, I mean, these individual figures, they could like go away or become lolcows and bespoil themselves. And then other careers can become more significant, like Sargon's or Mr. Medicur's. Yeah, Coach Red Pill and Mike Cernovich, they both were a part of Gamergate. Like, we all remember the Knoxville stuff. Andy Worski. But the individual figures don't matter, but it still seems that, like, I kind of disagree with Billionaire Psycho, like, about its importance, but also, like, I kind of don't, because there still is like mainstream leftist publications that will mention Gamergate as like directly leading to
Well,
Trumpism.
they consider it like the invasion of Poland for the online culture war.
Yeah, exactly.
Which, I mean, I don't, again, right? Like the whole argument about like read another book or pick another conflict in history, sure. But it is true in the sense that like we do fundamentally live in a time where like this is, a lot of people can like I have done the domino meme where it's like, you know, Zoe Quinn blows 5 guys and then all of a sudden, you know, like Donald Trump has like signed a bill into law that has given ICE, you know, a budget larger than most like militaries. Like that's an insane thing to think about.
Yeah.
How true you want to rank that is a whole other story, but I mean it is an important way to look at it. Like, so, but it just raises a question because it's like you and I are most likely going to live for another, at least, Lord willing, maybe 30 more years, and if not more than that. And it, you know, I'd like to live to my like 60s and 70s and 80s, Lord willing. I don't know, but it raises an interesting question of like, okay, well, will this be relevant in a couple of years, or will this be relevant in 10 or 15 years? It's just it's a question I ask myself because it's like, well, will more important reality things come along? Because like, yeah, there's the great argument about how much of this is like real life, how much of this is like more than what
nonsense.
Yeah, more than just a couple of posts online. Like I remember on Reddit, I know it's silly to mention Reddit, but like people talk about like Canadian housing, or there'll be very obvious like ethno just like Twitter Reddit communities explicitly for like ethnic grievances. And like there was one that was making the rounds a while ago where it was like Indians saying like, listen, like Canadians are now at a point where they can only just bitch on the internet. Like there's nothing they can actually do. And how true that is, I don't know. I hope that I hope that they're able to do more than just bitch on the internet about how bad things are. And I certainly pray that that's the case. But like at the same time, you know, it's just like the reality on the ground is like the bean counting numbers of how many people are in this country, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, like another thing too is that you don't have with Gamergate, you had like certain leftist figures that were like tussling with Gamergaters. Like you had like, you know, of course you had Anita, but then you had like Christy Winters, you had like that, who was that
I think
guy
Dave debated her like 10 years ago.
Yeah, you had that football player, Chris Cluey or whatever his name was. But then like you don't have the same level of like slop streamer culture that you did. Like this was before BreadTube even.
Yeah.
And so you didn't have like the people that they were addressing were people that worked in institutions like in academia, or people that were like you did have like podcasters and bloggers. Like I think that TrueAnon guy, when he came back from his tour of duty with the YPG, you had sort of like kind of
man,
like
everyone and their mother wanted to be doing stuff with the YPG.
Yeah, you had like Chapo Trap House, but like when it came to like Gamergate, like significant leftist internet cultural figures, they kind of were doing something else. And the industry, the cottage industry of like leftoid streamers wasn't there yet. But then later down the pipe, you had like BreadTube, you had ContraPoints, Philosophy Tube, then you know the slop cycle goes all the way to like now you have Hassan Piker, and I'm sure there's like big like leftist like women you know streamers.
Not to mention the new atheist stuff too. Like,
well, then the new atheists, they're integral to this as well. Like the new atheists, people don't know this. I don't know if Billionaire Psycho writes. We'll get to it, but the new atheists split off. And they were both pro Gamergate and the reaction to
Well, yeah,
Gamergate.
the skeptics.
Skeptics, yeah.
Yeah.
You had like Rebecca Watson. Was she the one that tried to cancel Michael Shermer, Richard Dawkins in the elevator?
One of them.
Yeah.
I think so. My memory is hazy.
I think Dawkins tried to ask one of them for coffee in in an elevator, and that was like a big scandal.
I think it was Shermer.
Or it was Michael Shermer, yeah.
I'll let the chat can tell us. I know someone remembers better than I can.
Yeah, you had like Atheism Plus, you had the Rational Response Squad. Remember those people?
TJ Kirk is still around.
Yeah. Then which was funny because
we live in a world where J.K. Rowling, renowned TERF, but still a libtard, knows about TJ Kirk's banana.
Although J.K. Rowling did give a huge smackdown to Emma Watson, that was pretty funny. No, but like you had like TJ Kirk, who I had been following for a number of years at that point in a negative way because he, well, you know the deep Gio lore.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, he wrote this nasty reply to me, and I never forgot it. And I've only been vindicated on him forever. No, but DJ Kirk, he like Amazing Atheist. He was initially aligned with Carl Benjamin and Gamergate, but then he slowly started drifting to the left when the pay piggies started to dry up, and then he realized that, oh, like me being a massive atheist degenerate nihilist, actually I am a political leftist. That's my like the way for me to continue being a degenerate nihilist is if I'm a man of the left. And then so he tried to break into BreadTube, but then all these BreadTubers, they discovered all of his old Gamergate videos, and it just wasn't there. And yeah, Chris Reagan, Nudge Unit, that's a good example where he initially started off as a Gamergater. Then he went to being a BreadTuber.
Well, and he also took down because he had done that whole music video thing. Well,
he was fraternizing with the enemy. He was
and I mean, he did the paparazzi parody, Punch a Nazi, and that he eventually took down, and then another person of that age or era, the short fat otakus of the world, were sharing it, and they're like, "Hey, I believe in free speech, but also I'm still a massive libtard or whatever."
Didn't short fat otaku, didn't he rise to prominence in Gamergate?
Yeah, that's how he got his rise to prominence, because he would break news, and
Louis Laveau. Remember Louis Laveau?
I do. I remember the Pastor Louis rants. I think he hasn't been on the air in about 5.5 years.
Who was Sargon's Romanian Janny?
Romanian TV. He's still around. I think he still does.
The furry.
He still does. I'm
going to break down content. This leftist on Tumblr. I'm going to do like that was like I used to watch his videos. That guy was from Canadian. He was Canadian. That guy that was originally a part of the Badgers. Then he was like a new atheist, but then he became a manosphere person. He always wore like a toque. There was a bunch of them, man. There was like, because there was like this fusion of the atheism thing with the manosphere, but then you also had the reaction to it from like Atheism Plus, the skeptics. And I believe Atheism Plus was being led by PZ Myers, his like free thought blogs, where he had his little kingdom there. And he was, Dr. Randomer Cam. Thank you.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And so he like, Free Thought Blogs was his little fiefdom, and PZ Myers was always ass blasted that he was never a part of the Four Horsemen. The other Four Horsemen were like way more accomplished and way more well known than he was. And so then he used Gamergate as like a second wind to his skeptical career. So now it's like, I'm a skeptic, but now I'm also a libtard. And so, Kick V. I remember that day. I was watching live when Sargon kicked V. I was watching live when Sargon kicked V. That was a legendary moment.
And now it's just a meme.
Now it's just a meme, Kick V. Yeah. So you have like New Atheism being the first, like as much as I hate all of these people, you had like New Atheism was like the true first internet counterculture. And that really created the precedent for both the reaction to and the pro side of Gamergate. Like people don't remember this, but Sargon was a New Atheist. Our favorite anti-communist quote unquote academic was a New Atheist. You know who I'm talking about?
No, I don't off the top of my head.
James Lindsay.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. Well, yeah. I knew he was
a new atheist. Like his
Yeah.
first 2 books are about how we don't need God to solve the world's problems.
Yeah, there was that guy that Jay Burton interviewed that was talking about those books.
Ben
recently.
Boyce.
No, it was another British guy. But yeah, Benjamin Boyce talks about that. Like, what was Ben Boyce around at this time?
Ben Boyce was there during the Evergreen stuff.
Oh yes, the campus. Yeah,
Yeah, the campus
where they were hunting
protests.
down Weinstein.
Yeah, where they were going after Weinstein.
Brett Weinstein.
Yeah.
Then you had like a bunch of these little ones. You had like, well, Undoomed was pretty big. You had like
there was an entire media ecosystem that existed at this time that would be fundamentally ushered in, and either managed to hold on to relevance or quickly died after 2017.
You know what happened to Milo? There's this there's this YouTube channel that catalogs some of these people. You know what happened to Milo Stewart?
No, I don't.
Milo Stewart detransitioned and started an OnlyFans.
That's wow.
Yeah.
I hope that I don't get that kind of repertoire. Like, I think about all the terrible things that have happened to like other online celebrities, and it's just like, man, I really hope I don't become one of those guys where it's just like, you remember that, like, you remember the frog? You remember that guy, right? Like, well, it turns out he totally fucked up his life, and now he's like selling his body. Like, if I ever get to that point, you have every right to hunt me down and just.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's been plenty of like. Both, it's very funny. Not funny, the ha funny, but like there's
that's sad funny
that there's like people that were against GamerGate but also pro GamerGate that totally ruined their lives and did very terrible things. Like, you know, Mercedes Carrera, I think, got let out of jail recently. Then you had like that couple that Sargon debated that were against GamerGate. I believe the guy asked them two.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. And so you have like this tragic backstory to a lot of figures that were rose to prominence. And here's the thing, like, I mean, for being like, you know, I'm not trying to like moral F-slur here, but there are like, I remember when GamerGate was so overtly saturated that these like YouTubers that were all like sort of clones of like Undoomed or Sargon or Hagbard Celine, or like Missed Computing Forever, who I believe also came back to.
He just got his channel back.
Yeah, he got his channel back. Yeah, but there was like there was a time where these people were basically just hunting like random teenagers, filming themselves in their bedrooms who were Tumblrites, and like I think like Milo Stewart, like not to say like the Brianna Wu narrative that GamerGate was like a pure harassment campaign. But there were like slop channels that were trying to break into it that kind of did like harass just like random people on the left that probably didn't deserve it. But I think the problem is the media depicting GamerGate as like just that. Like GamerGate wasn't like, if you go to GamerGate on Wikipedia, I believe they call
it's listed as a harassment campaign.
Exactly, right. But that being said, like, to be like brutally honest, there was a time where GamerGate was so oversaturated that you did have like, you know, like Milo Stewart definitely was harassed.
Well, everyone,
like,
I mean, it's just the same thing that exists now. Like, everyone wants to do the style of someone that has achieved a modicum of success.
Exactly.
Like, it's just natural. Like, there is a now deleted YouTube channel of mine from several years ago at this point. I want to say like, about a decade ago.
T Prude lore.
No, it was probably around 2018. Where I was doing, I did not show face. I had a pseudonym. I had everything, and I was doing quick 3 video rants, sort of like Sticks, Hex, and Hammer on various news topics.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, well, you know, like maybe this will go somewhere. Why not try and just talk about it and see what happens? I did it for about like 6 months. I didn't really get anywhere with it. Maybe a couple hundred subscribers. And just, I was like, and then I moved and I was like, fuck it. I deleted the channel, gave up on it, and let it die. And then I decided to do it several years, about a short year or so later. With a much higher degree of success, which is terrifying to think about. But yeah, there's some deep Prude lore. I once ran a like rant about the news, Sticks, Hex, and Hammer clone channel, which I mean, it's just natural. Like if you listen to someone that you liked at the time, I liked Styx.
Yeah.
And it was just like, well, why not give it a shot and see what happens? And maybe you two can also be successful in your own right, and maybe good things will come your way. And like it's the same thing here. Like, you know, there are bread tubers who were obviously clones of ContraPoints, and there were obvious accounts that were trying to mimic others. Like even my channel now, I've said is an homage to Dave Green as you know, the distributist. I'm not a Roman Catholic, so I just went with a different name. But like it just kind of goes to show that, you know, that it comes with every cycle, that everyone tries to mimic or attempt to be someone like their own guy, and maybe it'll work out for them, maybe it won't. And of course, when you're in a big heated cultural moment like this, you're right, it's so saturated that some of these guys just become lolcows. Yeah.
But no, but that's what I mean. Like, you want to find the next lolcow to milk, but then you in turn become a lolcow.
Oh, definitely.
Like, remember that Atheist Gamer guy? Like, he was there was this guy called Atheist Gamer that he, like, I think tried to like harass one of these lolcows in real life or something like that. Like, it was not good. Like, there was a bunch of these clones, and they would always have like the same, like, you know, like what's that one? I think they're still around actually. The couple, Sugar Tits and Bearing.
I think so. I vaguely know who you're talking about.
They had the template down pat, and everyone wanted to be like Sargon or like Bearing or Mr. Medicare, and it's like it just became so much that the left saw that and like, well, why can't we have our own thing? And then lo and behold, you have BreadTube, and now you have Twitch, and of course Twitch is owned by a guy who's friends with Hassan Piker, and that's why like he can, you know, shock his dog on camera, and nobody, you know, he's never gonna get punished for anything.
It is particularly interesting though that it's the animal harassment side of things that has functionally, you know, got
other stupid statements.
Well, not the litany of dumb statements, not the long articulated history of him being a fucking terrorist, but it's just like, oh, those poor dogs, those poor puppers. And don't get me wrong, like I will not condone animal abuse in any way, shape, or form. I'm just noticing.
Me neither.
It's just interesting that like in the left wing theory of value, you can be a total scumbag who supports radical left-wing terrorism and the death of political opponents, and tells your audience day in and day out, calling for blood of your enemies. But you shock a dog, and like your left-wing terror career basically comes to an end when like the Pokemains and the other like female Twitch streamers of the world are like, maybe this doesn't look so good for us optically, and maybe we'll go do our own thing.
You know what? I'm gonna say, like, fuck. I know this is slop. We shouldn't even be talking about it, but like,
we're already here, Gio. We're knee deep in the slop.
No, but like, Pokemon threw her own crew under the bus to save face with Hassan Piker, even though we know why Pokemon's not going to do the thing with Hassan and that other fucking stupid Twitch streamer. I forget her name. But like, Pokemon's like, Teehee, I'm sorry, my crew said it would be controversial, and so we're gonna regroup. It's like, no. You know why you're not going on a
back on this.
It's no, but like you're totally throwing your crew under the bus instead of having the moral character to come out and say, you know what? I don't agree with Hassan Piker doing that to his dog. You know what's another thing too, Prude? Is that I know like what happened to the dog is terrible. Me and Micah Paul, we're gonna talk about this. We recorded this Content Minded. That the dog becomes this weird this weird prop, right? But I don't understand how Hassan has like a female audience, because he's like admitted to the fact that he frequented brothels that were allegedly pinched for, you know, trafficking in
minors.
Young people, let's say, for YouTube. And so that's like the biggest ick in the world from what I've seen. Like if you admit to the woman.
Have we maybe not considered Gio, for the sake of argument, that the people who are watching him may not have the same tastes or sexual predilection that you and I might have, or
True.
The women that you and I are seeing have different tastes than you and I do. It's just I'm just thinking out loud for the sake of argument that the
I
people
thought
who
universal
are
thing, though, like women get the ick if you admit that you frequented prostitutes.
I'm sure, but like, do you think that they have like a long enough memory? I don't know. Like,
True.
I'm just trying to think of all the ways in which you can frame this, and I just
Right.
don't know.
No, but I thought like out of all the things, like that would be the thing where if Hassan's like out and proud admitting that he's frequented a Turkish brothel, it's like, but yeah, it's fucked up. It's
I know. I agree with you. It's fucked up. but,
Gio
like,
discovers the black pill live on stream. Like, holy shit. No, but
yeah,
you figure
no
like
one's
these
disagreeing
TikTok
with
Zoomer.
you. Like, it's pretty fucked up.
No, but what I mean is I thought that these like TikTok Zoomer leftist women that they would like try to. I mean, I could be wrong. There probably has been like TikTok Zoomer leftist women that have tried to cancel Hassan, but
Oh, I'm sure.
yeah, it's
I just don't.
Yeah,
I just don't know them, and I don't follow them either. Like that's the
Yeah,
other thing. Like I'm
we
just
don't know.
fundamentally not on that platform or network or anything. So like I have no real frame of reference.
Right.
For what that looks like in any way, shape, or form. If I did, I'd probably be more comfortable talking about this. It's just there's so much of my media ecosystem that is fundamentally limited by my own consumption patterns.
Right,
That, like I just
right,
don't
true.
know. And I mean, this is the same thing about asking the question of like, why are we still talking about this? It's like, is it because we've hyped ourselves up as like an online community that is effectively given, like this is the only method of political attention or mythology that kind of binds us together is like we all remember when, which again is a very like millennial coded way of saying like, yeah, like this was our story. Like if I were to ask Zoomers how were they politically radicalized or how they came into this scene, I'm going to get a totally different origin story. And so like I think that it becomes very clear, at least for us, right, that
a lot of them were like kids. They were like
like actual children.
When
no,
they
I know.
During GamerGate.
Yeah, I know, but that's my point, right? It's like this is actual children, and so because this is like the children's side of things, like because the Zoomers were literal kids when all this stuff was going down, it's like, well, what is your story? So like this, to me, GamerGate is like an millennial myth for why are you online and political in the way that you are. Which, like, okay, if that's the explanation or if that's the story, like, then fine. This serves this suitable, like, online digital mythopoetic narrative in which I can say I was there. Let me tell you the story of a complicated poster. Let me tell you the story of a problematic woman. And, which, I mean, fair. Like, that would make sense. Harder to sell it as, like, the defining point because I'm pretty sure a lot of Zoomers or people younger than us at least would tell you flat out, oh no, COVID is what radicalized me.
Yeah, they were like either watching little dark age edits on TikTok, like Hyperborea nets, or they were like watching us on Biker. Like it's people are botting me in the chat, like, oh, Gio thought they actually had principles. Like, oh my god.
Well, it's not
I guess
even.
You're right. I guess I
mean, fair, but I wouldn't be that cruel.
No, but I'm just saying, like, it's out of all the things, it's sort of like the little guy. Out of all of the terrible shit that he's done, like him being like him being like a Zionist was like the thing that got the left thinking, like, man, this guy's a really terrible piece of shit. Like, it's like, yeah, he actually is a terrible piece of shit. And it's like, like, oh, it's very funny, but
the poor dog. It's like, yeah, well, like,
no, I was talking about Destiny, but
no, Destiny too, but yeah, the Destiny stuff is he's probably kind of like like thanking God or whatever he believes in, being like, wow, no one's paying attention to me anymore. No one's paying attention to me right now. No one's paying attention to old Mr. Benelli. Like that must be nice. I got a court case coming up, and no one's paying. Thank God, no one's paying attention to me. And no one's paying attention to me. Thanks, Hassan. Yeah, thanks for playing the heel on this one.
Oh man. Well, but let's move on.
Yeah, let's carry on. The funniest aspect of GamerGate, and there are many, was that the marginal feminists Zoe Quinn and Anita Sarkeesian ended up testifying in front of the UN about how people ridiculed them on the internet. At the time, this was taken seriously as a geopolitical crisis. Maybe. Wouldn't go that far. It demonstrated that leftism is unable to back down. No microaggression is too small to escalate to an international incident. Also true. If you call women rude slurs on the internet, libtards feel totally justified in sending a SWAT team to your house to redact your pet squirrel. Sometimes people ask, what would it be like to live in a right-wing version of the global American empire? What would it take? What would it look like if we permanently defeated leftism, transforming clown world into based world?
Well, according to Secret Politics people, we already live there.
Yeah, yeah, buddy. One answer is that the Wikipedia page for GamerGate would carry an art guide's version of events, and it would ridicule Zoe Quinn and Anita Sarkeesian as two dumb sluts who attempted as subversive interests to corrupt a masculine hobby they didn't care about, attracting the well-deserved ridicule of young men who only wanted to be left alone. GamerGate was the first act of a John Wick movie where a retired hitman is provoked to come out of retirement, and then he savagely reminds everyone why they should have left him alone. President Donald Trump was the second act of the John Wick movie, where a bunch of mischievous keyboard warriors trolled their way to victory, restructuring the global financial system while bringing an end to the Clinton and Bush family dynasties that had dominated American domestic politics for nearly 30 years. There's one important thing that's been lost since the GG and the meme war days of 2016, which is the adolescent fun and transgressive irreverence, the juvenile sense of humor, which once characterized the right-wing youth. There is a brief window of when video game enthusiasts believed they could meme their way to victory. They did. Win a landslide election. They did. Reverse imperial decline. They didn't. 10 years have passed since then. Countless accounts have been banned, doxxed, deplatformed, debanked. Dissidents have been prosecuted and imprisoned. The presidency of 2016 was stalled out and subverted. The election of 2020 was stolen, and the 2024 election almost ended in the assassination of Trump on live television. COVID lockdowns crashed the economy and trapped everyone inside their homes, while Antifa and BLM rioted outside in the name of George Floyd. At some point, it stopped being fun, and the contest turned into a forever war. Comedy turned serious, but it should be remembered that in the aftermath of Gamergate, humor and a playful, childish energy fueled the engine of right-wing victories. That was the secret ingredient. Sosmodot is the key to winning. Always remember to keep having fun and to keep laughing because our enemies are ridiculous. And that was the end.
Whoa! No, that was great because he really did criticize, I think, the fantastical picture of what Gamergate accomplished as opposed to the reality of it. Now, to like not being like a total, well, I am being a total contrarian, but like, when he was like reading like the base world version of the Gamergate Wikipedia page, in my mind, I'm like, I don't know. That's kind of like,
who doesn't want the base world right wing version?
No, true, but
no,
I
know.
There is like a slop version of it that like, do we want like the 2010s but right wing in the sense of like everything repeated, but like, you know,
what does a right wing 2013 look like?
Exactly. Like, it's like, do we want like we're gonna have our dissident slop and we're gonna like, you know, the mainstream media is gonna affirm all of our thing, and the reality of what Gamergate was gets lost in the mix. Now, of course, like we all want the sort of the outcomes to be different of that time, obviously, but I think like, you know, it's funny. Dudley Newright, he like picked up on our thing about like the right wing bookstore.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, and like, you know, you're gonna like read your you know, Oswald Spengler while you're eating masa. You're gonna sell masa chips in the front stand and Hestia cigarettes. It's like, I don't know. There's something about that. Maybe it's because I am like a contrarian hipster figure, artist type, but I feel like there could be a sense in which there could be a different culture without it being like total, like what I call like vulgar dissident slop. And I think like, but then with Billionaire Psycho, like what he did very good was he's pointing out that, well, 10 years on to this day, like look at what's happened. And it's not really,
you can't go back.
You can't go back. Like maybe the rhetoric in terms of like the vibe or the Overton window that is felt in a very permeable, ethereal way on the internet when it comes to internet culture. Maybe things have gotten better in terms of like, you know, right-wing memeplexes becoming more mainstream or whatever, or people being like more tolerant of figures that, you know what I mean? But at the same time, in terms of material real world power, even with, you know, Trump as the president or whatever, things have not like really 100% panned out for a variety of reasons. And even in the Trump administration and its inability to wrestle, for example, certain like geopolitical problems, it still hasn't really delivered us this quote unquote based world victory the way that people have wanted. And if you look at like what's happened since the early 2010s till now, I mean, like he said it, the lockdowns and BLM and doxing and this and that, and 2020, and it's just I think there are mythologies that people on the internet right wing tell themselves, and they become memeified. And as I've said, then you have like these thought terminating cliches like black pilling and so on and so forth, that you have to like seriously examine what is the actual material real world consequence to something like Gamergate and what has actually been happening. And in terms of opening up a flourishing of counterculture that is towards the political right on the internet, yes, Gamergate did its job. Even though a lot of figures, including Sargon at the time, figured that, well, it's not really about politics, it's more about ethics and gaming journalism, blah, blah, blah. Is this really a political movement? There was always that internal debate, and then people towards the right of Sargon at the time, like David Serini, were like, no, that's just cucking. It actually is a political movement. What the fuck are you talking about? They're always going to frame you as a political right-wing movement. But, as that internal debate was happening, the actual thing about like what it was trying to accomplish, the video games industry, like you said, is the same.
It's gotten worse.
The woke hasn't been put away, quote unquote.
No.
It's been put away in the sense that corporations and media are at least like more willing to tolerate a sort of placating rhetoric towards people on the political right, especially with the second presidency of Donald Trump. But in terms of like real world, the machinery of power that exists,
yeah,
it's been slowed to a crawl. And I think another problem too is that when you talk about Gamergate, you're looking at it through an American, British, Anglosphere lens. The rest of Europe, for example, has not experienced the same degree. In fact, they're cracking down on a lot of dissident thought and speech and so on and so forth.
There's like what 11 to 12,000 people arrested in Britain for speech-related offenses.
Yeah, and let alone the rest of the EU. Yeah, let alone the EU and the UK in general. So I think that Americans, unfortunately, I'm gonna get
we live
Americans have a cultural blindness towards the rest of like the Western world,
we fundamentally, at the same time, as bad as things are, we also fundamentally don't know how fucking good we have it.
No, exactly. I mean, yeah.
Which, because but things are also really bad here.
You could be in the UK right now.
Well, true, I could be, but also at the same time, like, it's still like this is what my political science, like one of my poli-sci professors in college, and this was in my it was like I think it was like a 301 class. It was like a stats class that I had to take, and he had made this very pressing point where he was like, listen, doing a lot of statistical analysis and comparison of like GDP or healthcare between the US and EU nations is kind of apples to oranges, and it's actually not really good research terms, because like you'd almost have to break it down by state on the state level to really make your point, just because of how different America and many European countries are in comparison to their governments, their constitutions, how they're chartered. And it's just like, so yeah, like on one hand, it's very hard sometimes to say like, you're right, I could be in the UK, but if I'm in the UK, I also have a lot of things that I don't have to really worry about in the same way that I do, say, here in the US, it's just
exactly.
So I agree with you saying like, America has a cultural blind spot because we take so many things for granted, and we certainly do. Like, I know damn well I take for granted my free speech. I don't have to worry about the my local PD. I almost said the town name. Shit. Or I don't have to worry about my local police department coming my way to knock on the door about a tweet I made this morning, where I made fun of somebody. Like, I don't need to worry about that. I would definitely have to worry about that in any other country, or at least Britain.
Yeah. No, but also the material goals of GamerGate. That wasn't.
Yeah, that's the other thing too. Is
very
that
well
like we
articulated.
throw the term grifter around so much, which, I mean, there are grifters and things like that. Don't get me wrong, and there are people who are clearly in this to make money. But like, that's also an important question to ask. Is like, is it wrong? I don't think it's wrong for people to want to make money from being an online commentator.
Obviously.
I don't have a problem with that whatsoever. I mean, like, yeah,
we're doing it right now.
I mean, yeah, I'm doing it right now. I'm not like Jeremy from the Quartering or whatever. Where I'm gonna complain. And like, again, I don't really hate Jeremy from the Quartering. I don't watch the guy. I thought it was really funny that he did an Antelope Hill like sponsorship, because him talking about burning souls and Leon DeGrelle to an audience of like comic book chuds is comically funny to me.
But put the anti-Disney takes in the back. I can't go after him too hard because his wife recently has a lot of health problems, and so I don't want to go after him.
Well, I'm not even using him as a negative example. I'm simply saying, like, I'm not that successful, but I'm also not like resentful of the guy where I'm like, oh, no, like this guy's such trash or whatever. Like, I'm not that guy.
Well, there are people that are blatant content thieves, but
sure, that too. And AI has only made that far worse.
Yeah.
Because like, as I mentioned, like we mentioned, like at the beginning of the show, like there were guys that would do like YouTube channels where they would narrate green texts together. I think there was like an Irish or a Scottish couple.
There's a bunch of them, yeah.
That used to do it, or maybe they still did. Like, I remember they kind of blew up during COVID, and I thought they were like a cute couple, just talking about like dumb green text stories, talking about like D&D and other shit. And now it's like, people will instantly like warn you in the comments, like, hey, like this channel is just like narrating a comic, and they're like talking about what that means, but they're using an AI narrator, and everyone's like, well, fuck this guy, like, I'm out, I don't want to deal with this. So on one hand, like, you're absolutely right, I have no fault and I have no desire to give anyone shit who wants to make money from it, but also I think it's very important to differentiate between people who want to comfortably make a business model marketing things, but then at the same time try and play revolutionary.
Yeah.
Right? Like the transgressive edginess of, say, like the first meme war. I mean, like, it's really strange to think the fact that like Donald Trump once went on a stage to like, can you hear the people sing with like the deplorables as like a meme being right behind him on the stage? Like, that's an ephemeral thing to talk about. Like, it's otherworldly in terms of American politics to think about. But at the same time, like, I'm not going to go out here and tell you as I make like my silly, like that fucking Master Cheeks video thumbnail. I'm not going to go out of my way and tell you that like, if you follow and listen to me, like somehow we're going to change the world together.
No, of course not.
I'm a little more realistic and I'm a little more jaded, maybe because I'm not, I don't know, 20 and I feel like I can conquer the world. Perhaps it's just me being what do the kids say, unk status, maybe I'm just old. I don't know.
No, 100% agree, but also I think I mean, I don't appreciate certain other streamers streaming at the same time as us, but no, there was
I think Dimes and Dave are streaming at the same time.
Oh fuck. Oh god. No, but there was I remember watching a lot of these like live streams that were usually hosted by Sargon or like another third party like Warski Live, or not even Warski Live. I think this was before Warski Live. Oh, and Good Old Boys. Jeez.
Well, they're on Twitch. I wouldn't worry too much.
Yeah, but no. How?
But also, Gio, they're in a whole other league of their own, buddy.
Ah, fuck.
Like they have over like 1,500 people on their Patreon. Like, we're not comparable.
Jeez, man. How do they still survive on Twitch though? I wonder.
Because they don't violate TOS.
Oh man, but oh, they moved to Kick. Okay, that makes
they moved to
sense.
Kick. Well, that's
that
good.
Makes more sense. Yeah. No, but there was a bunch of these streams I remember back in the day that you could still like find. They were like from Google Hangouts, and there was like a big debate among these people.
Hey, we didn't call them live streams.
We called them
Google Hangouts.
Old man Prude.
I remember Sargon interviewing Dave Green on a Google Hangout in 2016.
That's
I remember when Dave used to say "fuck" all the time.
He cut comes out a little bit. Like I remember his follow the rules debate with counterpoints. He's kind of said fuck a lot. No, but there was a big debate among all these people that, and I remember like when Ethan Ralph was still writing articles too, when he was still married to Nora. There was a debate like, what is the goal? What is the tangible thing? Why does Gamergate exist? Is it because Zoe Quinn fucked 5 guys or whatever for views? Is it because Anita was a caller? Or was it because they actually did want video games that were quote unquote apolitical and that existed in a prior time frame like the early 2000s? Even though like video games had like a subtext of politics, there was like a sense in which ideology really wasn't the selling point of what the purpose of a video game being created and put out into the world was. And there was a huge debate is like, okay, are we a political movement? Are we on the political right? There are these alt-righters who are existing in the same time frame, and we certainly don't like them. And so you had like the alt-right distinction that comes from Gamergate. You had some figures becoming more right-wing than others. And then you also had people that were like kind of apolitical normie types that just, reviewed video games. And they latched onto Gamergate because they're like, well, these game studios hate us. And so it just was a mess, because that's one thing I think the new atheists learned. The original like counterculture political sort of like figures that came from Rebel Media, like Lauren Southern. Then you had other people.
I bought
like
her book, by the way.
I gotta buy her book. Then you had
I'm looking forward. I haven't read it yet, but I did buy it because I really want to hear her side of things. If am I gonna find out within like 5 minutes of reading it, like, oh, there's a ghostwriter here. Either way, I'm gonna read it.
But then you had like Stefan Molyneux. You had like Milo.
And he's back.
Yeah, he's back. Yeah, he never changed.
No, he did not, which I think was a shock to everyone.
Shocker. He was encased in amber to come back on Twitter. Then you had like, you had Davis Arini, you had the Manosphere adjacent people like Arini
and
Roosh, Aaron Clary, Bernard Chapin. I was a huge Bernard Chapin fan. I loved Bernard Chapin. I watched his videos every day. I was on like one of his streams before he nuked everything. I was on like one or two of his streams. Then, you had like the Manosphere people getting involved in Gamergate. Yeah, Mouthy Buddha, Coach Red Pill. I remember watching Coach Kino talking about how women are dogs. And then you had like people that were sort of like, okay, the video game industry hates us, and so what are we going to do about it? But like what the new atheists learned, that then Gamergate learned, and that subsequent both people on the left and maybe to a lesser extent on the right, to a lesser extent on the left and people on the right certainly have learned in subsequent years, is that these online movements, they sort of are like herding cats, and they don't really have a purpose besides the gripe with mainstream culture. And in this particular iteration, mainstream video game culture. And it's just like, there wasn't really a coherent thing. And by the time you got to like Christina Hoff Sommers and Sargon and fucking Steven Crowder going to these universities with Milo because they had some kind of like weird touring connection with Milo.
They did. That's where you got the Trickly Puff meme.
Yeah. Then you had like them confronting,
or the very like okay sexualization of Trump from Milo, like the weird conserva-gay phenomenon of like daddy. Like, I could have lived without that.
Yeah, and then you had like Ethan Ralph was like Master Malo. And then where did both Mike Ma and Baked Alaska start?
I remember
they were interns from Milo.
The book club from hell reviewing harassment architecture from Mike Ma. Yeah. And they were like, I just remember the line of like, this is Bronze Age mindset written by a straight man.
Yeah, and the thing is, and that was another thing, Mike Ma, he also crossed into Frog Twitter.
Yeah.
And Frog Twitter started at this time. Then you had like BAP and Campbot and Minoquion 4 and Hesperic, Faceberg, who is still around, by the way. He goes by Neat World Order. You know, and then you had like Frog Twitter certainly paid less of attention to Gamergate, but they were also starting up, and this is where I started up because I was part of West Coast Reactionaries and Thermidor Magazine, and so I was more Frog Twitter adjacent, and I was paying attention at the time to Gamergate, obviously, and I was like, man, maybe I should start a YouTube channel. And so, you know, you had this cross-culturation of different people, and yeah, people mentioned fucking Trout and T, and look what happened with that. Then he left, and he snaked everybody. Academics
came
respond.
back.
Yeah, then he came back and became like a normie lib YouTuber, fucking Kohler, grifting off of what does he do? Like country ball memes or some shit.
And talks about why certain political thinkers are wrong.
Yeah, and then you had, but then in among the coal dust, among the dust and the coal of Gamergate, you had YouTubers that were actually putting out shit that did have quality to it and were more like Frog adjacent in terms of their academic and written verbosity. People like Braving Ruin and Truedill Tom, and you know, Braving Room is actually still among us, by the way. I'm never going to reveal who it is, but like no, but like the thing is, you had like people that were kind of like doing very interesting academic shit. But then you had like fucking Millennial Woes is a part of this as well. But
yeah,
then,
but just
you know, you had
just
grifters.
as Tom, just as Billionaire points out, right? Like, but then reality kicked in,
Yeah.
and like some people did get political and have paid basically the rest of their lives for it. Like,
Yes.
And I've said this time and time again. Like, if I ever became a rich right-wing billionaire, I would be doing a fucking pensioners fund for people who got like banned and like, because here's the thing, Millennial Woes will never get a normal person job again. Like, you just fundamentally can't in the UK with what hit, like when you look up his name, like you're just not gonna have that happen. Is that tragic? Yeah, it is. But at the same time, like, imagine still doing this like well into your 60s. Like, that's a hard thing to do in the media ecosystem that's constantly evolving and where people have decades of your own history and your own words to throw your way and to call you out or to say whatever, to disregard you and give you a label. And
Edgy Sphinx and Naked Ape have fallen off the earth.
Like I certainly don't want to be doing this when I'm in my 60s. Like, that would be
Ricky Vaughn.
a night. Well, I mean, Ricky Vaughn's had kind of his own hell.
Renaissance, yeah. Well, yeah, he went
a renaissance, but hell.
Yeah.
Because I mean, shit, man, he shared a meme he didn't even make, and literally right after Trump gets out of office, the action is ready, set, go, and you know, basically like, well, we got to kill that guy.
Oh, someone mentioned Frame Game, but Mike Pence, didn't he become a Trump guy? Like, he became
Mike Pence. Didn't he work in the Trump administration?
Yeah, he worked in the Trump administration.
Does he still work in the Trump administration? Number 2.
I don't know. Maybe like he was on Tucker a while ago.
I know that he's still around, obviously.
Yeah.
And yeah, he was on Tucker, but like, there was a guy, I don't know who had, someone on Reddit had posted like, hey, this asshole from R the Donald was like a little Zoomer kid, and now he works for Doge, and it's like, well, that's great, you know?
Yeah,
like,
they doxed him. Yeah,
they did. Well, they doxed a lot of the Doge kids, which is really fucked up.
They called him. They all worked for Senator Thomas or something, or they worked for a certain like a specific Republican senator that then the leftoid like Antifa doxer people they went crazy over because then Elon Musk hired all of them. But then you have like a lot of these people that have very spiraling careers, and some of them became lol cows and they like sort of ruined themselves, and you know, like a lot of those guys, like some of them are relics and some of them managed to save themselves. Like, for example, Sargon, he has a media empire now. And, the fuckers became a bread tuber. He became like a self-hating Russian type of bread tuber. Like, he like, you know, is like anti-Putin, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. But then, and then Andy Worski reinvented himself, him and PPP. You know, people don't remember this, but another thing too around Gamergate, like this is also when Fuentes started. And before there was Nick Fuentes, when Nick really came to prominence was because of Beardson and Sean, because of the Weekly Sweat. And they had Paul Town there. And, you know, Paul Town was also very significant at the time. And, you know, I mean, really, Nick Fuentes, he you know, at one people don't believe this now, but at one point Beardson and Sean, they were bigger than Fuentes. And then Fuentes, he sort of like capitalized on the death of the alt-right after what happened in Charlottesville. And but a lot of figures were like that. Even like people talk about Keto Casino, like PPP was like the side guy for Godwinson. And then Godwinson left, and then he came back, then he left, then he came back. And then like, then he became the big thing with Andy Worski. And at one time, JF Gurepi was bigger than Andy Worski. Because, I shouldn't say that. Andy Worski had a very long career. He was almost doing YouTube for almost 15 years. He started off with comedy. Then he did those reaction videos with Asian Andy. And I just know so much lore. I fucking wasted my life.
I'm surprised you haven't tried to write the book on this, and you should.
Maybe Lomez should give me a writing credit.
Well, you should probably write your own history from your own side.
Yeah.
Maybe make it an autoethnographic thing, but like you should give it a shot.
Yeah. Was Emplemon big at that time? Or no?
It's a good question. I don't know.
Oh, that's another thing about the Lore in Southern book is that at this time, Andrew Tate wasn't as big as well. He was like
he was still the fighter.
Unknown. Yeah, he was still a cage fighter. Yeah, like he was he was doing kickboxing. Sorry.
Yeah, he wasn't the political or the political manosphere actor that we would call him.
Yeah. What wasn't Rollo Tomasi also big at this
Oh,
time?
Rollo was huge back then. The Rational Male, and I have a copy of that book. Like, I mean, he was a whole other thing. I mean, that was sort of, I would argue, like the manosphere's peak. Like, it hasn't gone away. It certainly has changed.
Yeah.
Because I think just in the same way that, like, speaking of games, right? Like, Call of Duty had went from this like great gritty kind of like military action adventure shooter to where now it's like clearly catering to a majority non-white console audience, right?
Low attention span, also they're
well,
bouncing
that
around the
too,
map,
but like,
yeah.
I mean, like, come on, like, no one wants to play. I would not play Call of Duty knowing that, like, I'm gonna get like teabagged or I'm gonna hear a smoke alarm beep while someone like snipes me or like, crouch shots me with a Nicki Minaj skin. Like, what the hell am I doing, right? Like,
didn't they try to turn like Call of Duty into Halo with the bouncing around and the
well, they were trying to mimic the advanced movement stuff that came from the Titanfall games. And Halo was chasing that trend as well. Like, the industry was all chasing trends, and it just came out to be such a bloody disaster for just about everybody involved.
Yeah.
Don't recommend.
Yeah, but no, but yeah, the manosphere was also like another thing too is that you did have who else was getting big at the time? Then right after GamerGate, you had both internet blood sports that burned out very quickly for obvious reasons, and then you had like reaction channels. You had like fucking Leafy and HD.
The millions and millions of cringe compilations as well.
Oh yeah, I was big into that. The cringe compilations, I loved those, but then they kind of went by the wayside for obvious reasons as well. And then you had like a quick burnout effect, and then you had like guys like H3H3 and Leafy and Pyro Cynical and who else am I thinking of? Among all the Let's Players as well, the older Let's Players like Sean Anders and Only Use Me Blade, and of course
I infamously remember, I don't know why, but like I infamously remember at one point in time
PewDiePie.
Well, that too, but I was thinking more of
oh yeah, iDubbbz as well.
Oh
God!
Talk about someone who fell off in terms of the original fall from grace. Yeah, no, I was thinking. I remember that at one point in time, I think Shuon had said that she was a reactionary because she liked reaction video content, or she made it, not knowing what the term meant, which I think is very funny in retrospect.
Oh yeah, Tobuscus started making videos again. Wow.
When you don't know what to do with your life, go back to what you know, I guess. But like, as we stand here and we reminisce, I think it just kind of comes to show like those fundamental questions of like, well, what the hell are we doing have to get asked, because at the end of the day, there are guys that may have started out from that point or maybe were inspired by it and then tried to do something. I mean, You talking about like Brittany Pettibone and all that, and there's Martin Selmer and everyone else on like the German side of things. And it's just like, but those are like fundamentally legitimate questions and causes that are worth fighting for, in sense of, well, like everyone kind of knows the obvious at this point. Like, yeah, like the replacement is real. Immigration is a disaster. Like, what are we supposed to be doing here? And all those like crunchy issues that like the left would have talked about, ranging from housing affordability and the rest. It's like, well, those things are actually primarily tied to the fact that you give subsidies out to hotels and public owned or Section 8 or whatever in order to house these people. And all
even Lotus Eaters talks about this.
Yeah. Like everyone knows what's going on. Like we're all past the point of like the celebration parallax. Everyone is so nakedly obvious, as I've written about in the past. Like it's at that point. And the costs have been huge. I mean, even we're a little over a month now since, a bunch of coordination on Discord took place, and a bunch of Trantifa people coordinated the assassination of Charlie Kirk, who you started Turning Point USA in like what, 2012? When he turned 18.
Really?
Yeah. Like,
holy shit.
Yeah, like again, I think while everyone likes to think of like the Groyper days or how his views have evolved and so on, like Charlie started this out since he was like 17 years old. And so as they, eulogize him today and they posthumously award him the, Presidential Medal of Freedom, it just kind of comes to show like, well, what are we doing? Are you going to be like an anime review channel where you bitch about wokeness and like American woke voice acting?
Localizers.
Yeah. Are you going to be doing something else with your time? And it's just like, well, if that's the case, like you also have to keep in mind that those that decided to act or be more than just a commentator, well, then I think they've come to the conclusion that they're willing to pay a price. And that's the thing, is like, it's fun and edgy and transgressive, but then you have like, and again, like what's the episode I go back to in terms of like Murdoch is the episode called In the Court of the Optics King.
That one.
And I go to it all the time because, well, I mean, like the show is clearly parody. It's also like this weird historical nugget of what the alt-right looked like at the time. And I think about it because it's just like, well, how do you play the optics game? And what do you do? And what does that look like? Because that you can try and play that. Kind of plays into what we were talking about at the beginning with the young Republicans text messages and such getting leaked. And it's kind of wild to think about that too, where it's just like, well, you can play nice or you can act like the transgressive edge boy. And either way, you're still going to get screwed by the people that claim to represent you. Exactly. And it's just like, we can play this game about like optics or memes or whatever. And I think a friend of mine had tweeted out, he's like, all these texts that were leaked. And he's like, I haven't seen a single hard R yet. Don't know how true that is. Don't take that as gospel. I just thought that was funny. I was like, if that's true, that's hilarious. That even these young YR guys didn't want to use the hard R. But
even Sargon learned this lesson.
Oh, he sure didn't he?
The UKIP debacle.
I think he knew he wasn't going to get anywhere.
No, but then,
like, who wouldn't want to have a fun time calling the press evil for an hour?
The Jess Phillips thing was a bad look.
That was bad. Like, there's
and arguing with alt-writers on Twitter and sharing black,
calling them, and sharing gay porn and whatever. Like, not the best look. Like,
calling them white.
But again, that's the thing, right? Like, you can be doing this for the rest of your life. Like, are you ready to deal with the consequences of having your worst moments on display like that?
I think like after a while, like
a lot of people look past it.
They look past it because then you try to like become more professional, as Sargon has done. Or you sort of like own it and you realize like, okay.
You live and you move on.
You move on. I was a lolcow at one point. Like, he like PPB says it's like, I spread my asshole when I was drunk on stream. And Sargon obviously like he regrets doing the Jess Phillips thing. I wouldn't even what.
Yeah.
And you move on. And it's like, I'm sure there's embarrassing shit me and you have said that probably.
Oh yeah, I'm sure there's plenty of things I would love to go back and change or delete.
Yeah, there's things I did on BTR I probably regret, but like Gio, you're not as smart as you think. He's not as smart as he thinks he is. Are they referring to me? Like, MC Jarbo, Boulder Jarbo, Monday Matt, didn't he become like a basic bitch libtard? Like he became
I
a lib?
feel like he did.
Yeah, he became a lib and like.
But like that's the thing is that all media, it doesn't matter what you do, right? Like on the left, like I know someone doesn't have has right wing beliefs by what they don't mention.
Right.
For instance, there is a certain YouTuber who is known for speed runs of certain games. I won't say who and I won't say what, but I know whose tweets he likes. And I know whose tweets he has liked based on my own encounters with the guy and discussions about video games and my friends like Revenant and so on. So it's like, and so you can tell when they don't talk about things and they kind of play to safe formulation. It's like, okay, I have a pretty good idea of your politics, buddy. Like I know what you're doing, and I respect.
Yeah, I know what
but,
you
like,
are.
I know what you are. Like I know.
No, but it's so funny. Like they went after Jarbo so hard, force flagging people, but then lo and behold, most of the people persecuting him become flaggers themselves, and it's like that was like I remember that stream, man. I remember they like forced him to put up his fucking DMCA list on this Google account. It's like that was like such a spectacle, man. Like I'm actually shocked at all those moments I was there for. It was just people were mentioning that about like John David Ebert. He would like put up these deranged videos about his ex-girlfriend, and you know, it would only be up for a few hours. And I didn't realize I was like witnessing. I think I said this to my good friend Lemurian on Twitter. I said it's not even top shelf Kino. It's the type of Kino you have to ask the clerk to go to the back of the store to get. Oh man. So many moments of Kino and Nectar, like Tears in the Rain, just gone. You know, like all those old Davis Serini videos. But what are you gonna do, man? This is life on the internet. Like it's just people say things are forever. That's not actually true.
People do in fact forget.
Yeah, or people delete things, or
people delete things, people forget, or you don't even remember you said those things until someone brings it up to your face. Like I don't really, I like Yarvin as a shit poster in a lot of ways because he's very good at it. But I find it like the New York Times interview shortly after the election, and the podcasters bring up his Anders Breivik's writings, and all that Curtis is doing is just laughing his ass off at his own writings. And it's just like that's. I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty fucking entertaining.
It's probably the best response you can give besides giving them what
it really
want.
is. But like, I'm sure if someone were to say like, "Hey man, you said this like 20 episodes ago," I'm like, "Well, damn," And that's sort of the thing is like when the content or the even just like the way things are monetized is so effectively gamified to where like it's not about long form longitudinal analysis. Like I mean, you and I don't do we don't sit down, we don't do a quarterly review of like good DA moments. We don't treat this like a business in any way, shape, or form.
We should though.
We probably should. We should have a meeting of the shareholders, which is just like you and I.
We should definitely have a clip channel.
We should have a clip channel. I do wholeheartedly agree with that. Whoever said that they were going to in the chat, whoever does it, like we're going to endorse it.
Yeah.
Like don't get us wrong. We're
not going to be like certain, I
will not be an asshole about it. Like if it gets monetized and you make money doing it, like cool. Like I'm all for it. I would love a clips channel.
Unless you get bigger than us, then we're going to flag.
Well, then it's game over, right?
Cool. Game over.
Hopefully by then we're either this.
No, but really, I'm joking. Like if we had a clip channel and they became bigger than us.
We have fundamentally done something wrong. That or they've made it big on TikTok. I don't know.
That's what I mean. Like if you had a TikTok clip channel of DA and they made it big and then we have a bigger audience in turn, I wouldn't mind that.
No complaints at all whatsoever.
I wouldn't be like a certain person living in a shack in Mexico that just flags down all of his clip channels.
It's still so funny to me. That whole phenomenon is hilarious. But like, isn't that the other thing too? At the end of the day, is like these literal relics, these old heads, these people or whatever, like there is a very fundamentally real human aspect to it. And we get to live in the midst of people coming to terms with who they were, what they've done, and the life choices they made. Because at the end of the day, fame can destroy you.
Oh, definitely.
And fame will destroy you. And it's sort of an important thing to consider.
It's a cruel mistress, really.
It really is. Because like our friend Schwab had pointed out a couple of days ago, he had said that I have to think that behind every major big account, there's probably an insane person inside, because it's almost impossible to really consider the logistical reality of being an account with like 100,000 plus people following them. Like that's a number that most people cannot conceptualize. Like my channel has 13.1 K subscribers.
Oh, you
That is an
bastard.
unfathomable
Fuck.
number to think about. Like I'm a small YouTube channel, but like even the number for that is one incredibly humbling, but also like incredibly hard to think about. Like there are some sports stadiums that can't fit that number of people.
Yeah,
And it's just like all of the people who subscribe and like your work and have donated money over the years, like they could fill a stadium. And it's like, that's fucking crazy. Cause like I'm a nobody who does this on his own time while working a full-time job. And like, I don't get paid. Apparently I got tagged in some like crazy, like parapolitical Substack not too long ago, claiming like I was part of some sort of paid network. Oh, which I'm like, oh, buddy, I wish.
Can you link me to that one?
I'll send it to you after the show.
Did I get mentioned?
I don't think you did. Maybe you did.
Fuck, I never get mentioned in these shits.
Maybe you
never.
Did. I don't recall. But like, I just thought it was really interesting because it was just like I literally, when I say like I'm a guy who lives in the middle of nowhere, I fundamentally am in a lot of ways a guy who does live in the middle of nowhere, who has just decided to do this while listening to Academic Agent argue with Don the Pleb and Dave Green on YouTube one day. And I was like, fuck, I can do this. And while I was sitting and getting dialysis, I was like, yeah, fuck it. Like, why not? I can give this a shot. Yeah. And here I am all these years later. And I don't know what I have to show for it, but it really is an interesting thing to look at. Because again, like these things can destroy you. There are people who have ruined their reputation or have become these weird little memeable moments in history, so to speak. Like, everyone was doing the Dave Ramsey meme a while ago, and one of our friends was just like, "Oh, well, I met a girl," and he's like, "Oh, that's great." And he says, "Yeah, I bought her. I'm gonna get married to her." "Oh, that's great." He said, "I mailed her an engagement ring." "You what?" "Yeah, I haven't met her." "You what?" And it's like, "Oh, I know what this is in reference to." You know, like, and just little moments like that where like so do I. It's not I'm not here to make fun of it.
I know, but it was like people were mentioning that. Yeah,
I was there in the space when it all happened. I was there.
Or went out for Chris Chan. Did something happen to Chris Chan?
I don't know. I don't want to think about Chris Chan either. Like, that's another example of just like, you know, the kind of life on the internet and what it can do to you. And I mean, that's the other thing is like at the end of the day, like you could probably do a retrospective in like 10 years from now and interview the people who were there and be like, and who's died? My God,
Barb died?
Barb died? Oh, his mom?
Holy shit. Yeah, his
mother.
Mom.
Well, that was only a matter of time.
Yeah, she was old, you know.
She was old and unwell. Yeah. Well,
Chris Chan became a father again for the 4th time. Is that really true that he lives in Finland and has a GF that's impregnated?
I hope not.
I hope not.
I don't want to think about that.
Look at Nolan Zaleski. Gio is paranoid that he will get attention, but also hates that he isn't accused of being a bitch. That's so true. I have a very fucked up psychology around that. It's true. I like murdered my engagement by deleting bangers and, you know.
I murder my engagement every weekend when I basically don't tweet for like 2 days in a row.
Yeah. Me too.
And then I'm like, man, my engagement's down. It's like, well, geez, Matt, it's because you don't fucking tweet on the weekends because you more or less uninstall the app. So you can try and live a quote unquote normie life for 2 days. Because most of my life is lived offline, but it's just like, damn, like this is killing me here. It's killing me, Smalls.
I know, but I noticed you get a lot of attention for the Friday post.
Well, yeah, it does. It's become a Twitter institution, is what someone called it, and I was flattered. I was flattered. I like the Friday night post. And TBH, I don't remember how long I've been doing it at this point. I've just been doing it. It'll happen. And if I retire, I'll make a bot account, and it'll just be like, "Is it Friday night yet?" And then it can continue. But I don't know.
Is it Friday night yet?
Is it Friday night? I would remember that strange fellow. He'd post the clip from the lighthouse.
No,
Did you know Mason Musso was on the Disney Channel? And now he works for TP USA.
No, Mr. Prudentialist, it's Tuesday night. That's significant for some reason. Well,
I remember that night.
I
I would hate 3 hours of it every week. Especially when I didn't host. I had to put up with his shit, and I didn't get paid.
Who, Mr. Prudentialist? Who? Can't remember.
That wop. I remember that wop.
He's in the chair right next to you.
He's right there. He's right there. That walking Ozempic commercial. Right there. Mr. Prudentialist, they outlawed Ozempic in 2035 for giving everyone cancer. I remember that. I killed my second wife that way.
You William S. Burroughs, your second wife.
I just wanted her to be thin. I didn't think she'd get ass cancer.
That was that was like Christopher Moltisanti. Yeah, my aunt had that. Her asshole rotted out.
That grease ball right there. Right there. I remember.
That was like that Casey Green comic where he's like, I'm sure people still.
I do want to point.
He's like shoving it in the fucking mailbox. It doesn't.
I do want to point it out though, where it's like, is that YouTube may not feel important, but you do have to wonder if perhaps those 13,000. Well, that's the humbling thing, right, Randall? Is this just like, oh shit,
I
right?
would destroy worlds for 13,000 people on YouTube.
Yeah, like it's kind of
Fuck.
It's kind of wild just to think about that, you know. It's just like, or the same thing with like our Twitter following. Like it's a strange number to consider that. But yeah,
fuck, I'd destroy.
Clean it up, Jenny. Clean it up.
I would destroy words
all over the floor.
I'll destroy words for 13,000.
You'll get there.
I don't know.
Like when I go to my YouTube,
I regret
studio,
posting just on Twitter. I should have opened up a YouTube channel way earlier.
I did both at the same time, and YouTube I right now it says view a new achievement for my YouTube channel. It says cheers to 5 years on YouTube. Can you believe it's been half a decade? What an achievement! Don't remind me.
Oh man.
I remember back in the day.
Yeah, but see, I don't want to ratio libtards anymore. That's too. It's too, you know.
It's too passe.
It's too vulgar. Yeah, it's too. I want to do something different.
I remember when Morgoth would hate read The Guardian.
I remember that too.
I remember This Week in Stupid.
I remember This Week in Stupid. Remember he did a few of those live. He did he was in a hall or something.
This is This Week in Stupid for the week of April 15th, 2017.
Sargon should bring it back, but like as a limited grifter thing.
He should bring it back for the Lotus Eaters as a premium tier special. Morgoth is still good. Absolutely, I agree. Morgoth is one of my favorite people to read. Morgoth is the only person on, and this is I'll admit this openly. I think I even wrote it in his comment section. Morgoth is the only person who has wrote a piece that has moved me to tears. Since my time doing this, it's the essay in the band played on. That came out a couple.
Oh, that one?
Yeah, the one about
AIDS.
No, it's about a memorial. It's about a memorial that a local town hosted just a few miles from him about a mining accident.
Oh wow!
They commemorated the dead. The way that he wrote it, and I think he ended up narrating it for a YouTube video, it fucking broke me. I was like, I don't know why, but like it just moved me to tears. There's some there. The brass band, yeah.
Because the band played on was that Randy Stills book about
or something like that, or the brass
crisis.
band. I don't remember what it was called. I'm gonna have to go find it. Blood Sports. That was an long time ago.
Whoa, Worski versus Dingo.
There you go.
That was funny.
I really ever released that book. You're libertard cringe.
Apparently, only 2 people are in possession of Worcestershire Boulevard by Coach Kino, JF Garepi and Nick Ricada. So we're never getting that book. We're never getting it. This is
Are we ever going to get your book?
Hopefully soon.
Okay, that would be nice.
This Kino lost to time. Oh man. man. We really went down memory lane.
Just a tad, just a little bit,
Just a little bit.
It's a lost tome.
It was really funny. Earlier this week, I had because the new season of Smiling Friends came out this last Monday on the 6th. I think is when it dropped, and I sat down and I watched it with the lady, and I told her, I said, a friend from Twitter who is an IRL friend now. He and I knew each other as mutuals first, but we watched the episode, and I enjoyed it. It was fine. Silly Sam, total chud. But the episode ends, and she looks at me and she says, "Yeah, this is a show definitely made for you." And I was like, "It's a show. It's a YouTuber's show. Like, it's a show for YouTubers by YouTubers." And she's like, "Yeah, I don't know who any of these people are." So she's like, "All of this is kind of lost on me." And I was like, "Yeah, I get it." I just thought it was funny because she also was just like, "Yeah, your friend who's Twitter handle will remain anonymous for this bit." She's like, "I finally know what he reminds me of IRL. He reminds me of like a young Jewish boy in New York."
Oh,
and I was like,
my
I can't
God.
really wait to tell him that in person.
Holy shit.
Lord have mercy.
That's too much.
Funny though. So when do you have your talk out with Mike soon?
I don't know when that's happening, but this week it's a toss-up between Jewel Disc Case talking about House of Leaves or Kino Corner. So what do you guys want? Do you want...
What do you guys...
I know what you're going to fucking pick. You're going to pick Kino Corner.
Make your choice.
Okay, this week will be Jewel Disc Case. Then next week we'll probably have a solo one.
The Newgrounds Old True and Millennial Show. This is me enjoying Punch Forever. That new episode was weird. I do agree. It was weird. It felt like a retread of the pilot episode, except with a higher quality budget. I don't really like Mr. Frog. I didn't like the Mr. Frog episode, if I'm being honest with you.
Oh, are you talking about Smiling Friends?
Yeah, I am.
I gotta watch it.
You should. I think you and I could have a fun episode talking about it.
Yeah. Oh man.
I just like that they got Tomar to do like the old Grandpa Gleb thing, and he's like, "Yep, hell is real, and Christianity was right all along. Merry Christmas, everyone."
There's like some weird like
they got the
Easter eggs.
Jewish guy to do the.
There was this. I found this movie on Tubi, this found footage movie. It was called not Project Hex. It was was it Butterfly Kisses that had Doug Walker in it?
I don't think so.
It may have been Project Hex.
The 2018 film.
Yeah, it may have been either. It was either
hold on, I'm gonna go
Project Hex or it was.
I think it has to be Project Hex because I'm not.
Yeah, Project
seeing...
Hex had Doug Walker in it as a cameo,
Yeah.
talking about this video. Yeah. Who's Tomar Emeralds?
Yeah, that's the guy that did the voice. But anyways, you ready for
Oni Plays, yeah.
Yeah, you ready for Super Chats?
All right, let's do it.
Alrighty, I'm gonna start with the
Can we hit the go?
Absolutely, we can. So by all means, go to Entropy and find me there on the pinned comment in the YouTube chat, as well as in the description of this video down below. Or if you would prefer to support the show long-term using the wonderful QR code link up there in the corner of this episode, you too can be a longtime supporter of The Prudentialist and his wonderful work here on subscribestar.com/The Prudentialist. Gio's links are down below at Gio's content, Gio's content corner on Substack, as well as his Patreon down below in the links. So let's get started. I'm going to go Prudentialist / Blood Satellite crossover win. Boy, oh boy, do I have great news for you. Just yesterday, I was a co-host of a show called Do You Even Read? The only pro e-literacy podcast on the online right, where we discussed with Dimes, the co-host of Blood Satellite, the wonderful book The Hour of Decision by Oswald Spengler. He and I have done numerous episodes now covering all sorts of books ranging from spinal catastrophism to white fragility to anti-Oedipus and others. So I have Blood Satellite and I are good friends, Dimes and I especially. I have a regular institution show. I'm there all the time for Stringers, so don't you worry. But we're going to start with the YouTube ones because the very first person was incredibly generous because he had sent a Norwegian krone and he had sent $100 worth of them.
$100.
Gondola,
Oh!
that's incredibly kind of you. He says, here is some appreciation for the years of content. Well, Gondola, I
Oh!
greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Let's get some subs.
That's amazing. I really have no words. It's always generous when someone drops something like that. But you paid $100, so if there's something Gondola that you would like me to review or have Gio and I review together on DA, you can certainly ask for that in the chat. I don't have a problem with that. Yan for Canadian $6.99. He says rank Leaf Rock, Tragically Hip, Sloan, Blue Rodeo. This is a Gio question. I think I don't know these bands very well.
Sloan, Tragically Hip, Blue Rodeo.
There you go.
I always loved Sloan. I remember my old man playing it when I was younger. I was never really that big into Tragically Hip. I like a few songs here and there, and I never really listened to Blue Rodeo, so I'm gonna have to pick that order.
He goes on another one. Alexis on Fire, Billy Talent, Our Lady Peace. Ooh,
this is a hard one.
This is a hard one because I actually know these three.
This is a hard because Alexis on Fire actually wrote a song for my uncle who died. Our Lady Peace was always my favorite out of them. Then Billy Talent, then Alexis on Fire, because I never really listened to Alexis on Fire. So I've never really also listened to. I mean, Billy Talent was huge when I was younger, and I never.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, I kind of like it was too oversaturated for me, so I kind of like countersampled them a little bit. But I'll go Our Lady Peace. I always loved Our Lady Peace. Billy Talent, Alexis on Fire. What were you gonna pick, Prude?
I was gonna say Billy Talent, Our Lady Peace, and Alexis on Fire.
Okay, there you go. That's good.
Gio, please say Yan instead of Yawn.
Yan. I said yawn.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Yan sends for $6.99. Says, "What's the U of T riot because of Warren Farrell, the opening salvo of the Culture Wars?"
That was a long time ago. I think that was even before Jordan Peterson. So probably. I could be wrong on the dates there, but I kind of think that the Warren Farrell one was before Jordan Peterson on the steps of U of T, if I remember that. Yeah. So, yeah, that's a good observation. I totally forgot about that. Didn't Warren Farrell kind of lib out like he had Trump derangement syndrome or some shit?
If I recall.
Yeah. I think I have his book about... What was it called?
Well, I also know, speaking of which, Boyce has a whole documentary about his time during all of the Evergreen crap. I mean, yeah, he's got a documentary put together. I need to watch. He rewatches it every now and then with his audience or whatnot, or he's put it together. I think it's something that we should probably look at too. Our friend Gabe Underground, one of the
$10.
One of the trio that we have for Tukey's Mag sidebar. Great book review show. I can't wait for them to review books again. Examples of right-wing indie devs I can think of are some Russian CRPG boomers. That's definitely true. Some vaporware that claimed to hire Chris Avallone after he defended white people. Peripetia, also Carmack and the Great Rebellion.
I think I've heard of Carmack. Yeah, I think he's talking about John Carmack. Oh.
Well, I know he was supposed to go to Based Con, and I know that John Carmack got a lot of shit from libtards because he had posted about one of the Passage Press collections. Yeah. I own the Great Rebellion game. I should probably play it on stream for you guys.
What's that about?
It is like a right-wing platform shooter.
Oh my god.
It's got everything from all of your right-wing esoterica to like certain people we know from the internet. And then Yan says, "Need these boys immediately. You are all bums." Well, it's very kind of you, but no, not everyone's a bum. Perpetia is just an unironic Polish schizo woman doing American conspiracies. Boy, we just covered 2 books back to back, you non-watcher. Well,
they had this episode I was watching called Charlie Kirk Slop King. It was all right.
It's funny because I'm doing a playthrough of Arcanum right now, and I'm just not listening to Tukey's Arcanum commentary.
Hey Tukey, Dave, let me ask you: Are you gonna review the female loneliness epidemic when it comes out? I'm thinking of getting that book.
You should cover more femcel literature.
Yeah, it's great. I heard it's gonna be great, but I don't know. She's kind of weird. Like she's like half a libtard but half not. Like I
Are you
saw her
saying that
going
women are crazy?
Chalusky. I saw her going to
The last
war.
video of yours that I watched.
I saw her going to war with.
Yeah, I watched
Andy.
the Fed book one. That was great.
That was a good one. The Fed book one.
Although the fucking minstrel show was wild. So for those
Yeah.
who don't know, our friends over at Two Keys Mag had decided to perform an actual minstrel show as an audiobook. And the the minstrel show book, the new minstrel review volume 3 that they were covering got taken down from archive. So they had to go to Kiwi Farms in order to do it.
Holy shit!
Yeah, and I said the gang gets canceled in their old Kentucky home. So okay, those are the YouTube super chats for now. I'm going to move over to the sub. Oh no, there's one more from YouTube. You have all the power to send one band to prison for 5 years. All members, who and why?
Oh my god, that's a hard one.
That's a good question.
Probably Protest the Hero.
Mm.
Fuck them. The fucking Canadian leaf libtards. Fuck 'em. I hate them. They were so big when I was a teenager, and they're just so annoying. Not Alexifar.
I'm gonna simply say
Hero.
Death Cab for Cutie because they haven't made a good album since Codes and Keys, and Ben Gibbard's a huge libtard. Also, congratulations on fumbling like a cute art hoe.
Oh my god. Who else would be deserving of that?
U2, no contest, simply for what they've done to the iPhone.
Probably because like an obvious
Can't
one
get
would be,
that
like,
album off your
Rage
phone.
Against
Mm-mm.
Like Rage
The
Against
whole
the
of
Machine
Red
would be a
Tube
cool
relies
one.
on Kiwi Farms for research. So true.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
No, I don't know, like, because the obvious one would be like Rage Against the Machines, but who cares? That's not whatever.
I feel like that would only give them more attention if you threw them all in jail.
Yeah. I don't know, like Green Day. Why Fraser? Why mindless self-indulgence? What do you have against them? I'm trying to think of another band I would want to throw in jail. Fuck, that's a hard one.
Yeah, but I'm gonna go on.
Protest the Hero. There you go.
Go on to our friends over on Entropy.
Entropy.
So Melons, he says,
Who does not follow me on Twitter?
Timeline Earth Pods understands hyperstition. Bro just posts "you're going to jail" over and over when he sees his enemies. He's never stopped. I respect it. Be like Pause. So Melon also continues on the gaming discourse. He says a lot of gaming these days now is really marketed towards Black people. That's certainly true.
Well, I think like a lot of like mainstream culture is marketed to third worlders in general, whether it be in Africa or China, or like there's a huge market of like people in the global South that need very fast and quick. You know, if you're working a predominantly English language medium, I think like that's like why was Cape shit so popular, because all these big studios, they knew that they could just market it to the third world.
So true, Queen.
And
so true.
Yeah, there you go.
Carrying on, he says the E-Right's influence is overstated by drawing people in because it was one of the only organic growing things happening. That's why people originally loved gaming.
Yeah, that's true.
That's a good point. Sam153 says Sneed. Great showing on the war report for Gio. Hope you shared Canadian Thanksgiving turkey with Prude. Oh, when was Canadian Thanksgiving?
The other day.
Oh, the other day? That was Canadian.
Yeah.
Okay. On Monday?
Yeah, Monday.
Oh, wild. Okay, so just yesterday. Yeah. I'm visiting in-laws for
the same day as Columbus Day.
Thanksgiving. Oh yeah, cool. They brought back Columbus Day, anti-Italian discrimination finally
over
for a bit.
I remember that wop. I remember him. Oh, greaseball.
Remember, like Silvio, that better not be Columbus up there, and they're like burning Columbus in effigy. Holy shit! That better not be Columbus up there.
Sam153 says, listening to you guys and Dave at the same time is wild. Smiley face. Ah, gee, thanks.
Whoa, what's Dave talking about?
I have no idea. I'll have to go. I usually listen to it the day after at work. Sex Freakman says, I remember before the great banning, many of ours were getting tired and sinking into a wholesome Chungus touch graspy normal vibe. So I wonder, could we have adapted if the escalation came sooner, or would we have been totally graped? Hard to really say. I don't know.
That's a good question. Fuck.
Because it really took for instance, it took the Chapo guys to really transform into that after the Bernie defeats.
And they sold their souls to the Democrat
Well,
Party.
yeah, they did. So it's kind of wild.
No, I think there was always going to be some co-option. There was always going to be either people would get burned out way quicker, or there would be like a psyop attempt by the Republican Party in America to basically corral the dissidents into them, which some people argue is, well, I'm not going to complete that thought, but no, but like there would have been, I think, a lowering. And there could have been a space by which the political left could have seemed cool and edgy and transgressive once again. But talk to me in 3 years from now, and we'll see how the E-Rate's doing.
Yeah, we'll see how we're doing in a couple of years. Maybe we'll have an answer for you on our own end. You can tell us in a year or two and see what happens to us. Charlie Mackey, very generously for $25, he says, good evening.
$25!
I hope you were both well. Well, thank you, Charlie. I hope that you're doing well, too. Sex Freakman again, he says, either way, I'll contradict always laugh at your enemies, not literally, but in the way the GamerGaters did. They felt like they had won, they were content, and got punished for it. Same as this year, in a sense. In the words of Kamala, do not come edge forever.
No, Sex Freakman's 100% right. No, I
you can never
agree with that.
Never blow your load over a perceived win. Like, I mean, I'm always going to be happy when our guys win something, even if it's like a even a rhetorical victory, but like, I mean, Oren is really good at this, right? Like, Oren can celebrate wins when he gets them, but he also knows that, like, there's no such, like, the final victory is not here. In any way, shape, or form. Seawook Dev, our another great longtime fan of the show. He also sends $25. It's incredibly generous, sir.
$25!
He just sends 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 frog emojis. Well, thank you. I greatly appreciate that. I have a T-shirt from a fan of the show who I've met IRL at the OGC conferences. He gave me a DILF T-shirt that says "Damn, I love frogs." I've worn that one in public. I can't wear the other one he's given me in public. And I do have the. You can buy this at Walmart and other places. I have the frog and toad T-shirts as well. I wear those. I wear the frog shirts when I'm painting. Oswald Art, he says, evening, gents. I hope that you are both well. I am getting over some sickness, but I am on the mend. Did you see the Gio Fumo design I drew last week?
Oh, yeah.
I did not see that one. I'll have to go find it. I'll go to your Twitter account and find it.
Pretty good.
And he says, Gio, please do more art content. Do an art stream. God bless.
Yeah. It had a glorious gun, too. That was another thing.
I'm literally going to go look this up now. Sorry, it's already here. Oswald Art. There we go. The Gio Fumo. I truly do love our friends. We have. Where's the Gio Fumo? I have to go find it. I'm gonna keep looking. Where is it? Good Lord. I'll just find it in a second. Oh no, there it is. Updated the Giant Gio Fumo. This is almost nightmare. Oh
God,
fuel.
Wingman. Oh.
No, Wingman. No. N-O. You're getting what you want, like, in a couple of hours. No. N-O. Share screen real quick.
Chetty, that's pretty good.
No one can see my... There we go. Okay, no one can see this. Share. This is the Gio Fumo.
That's pretty good.
Putting the
I always wanted a braided goatee. That, like, when I was younger, when I was a teenager, that was like my thing. So Owen Zaleski, he really knows the Gio lore. Like, I just couldn't grow a good one, you know. But I did when I was younger. I had long hair for like 10 years. I had in a braid and everything. So
yeah, Oz is the reason why we have the some of the photos that we have or that I use. So for instance, if I turn my OBS camera off, I'll change this real quick. So this one is also from Oz. I have them as my mini avatars on here. I like this one a lot. We should get the Giant Gio Fumo. This one for when Gio talks about e-girls.
We need the Fumo. We need like an official merch drop.
We really
need to make
do.
this happen.
We really do. Braided facial hair is very dwarven. Well, it won't work for Gio because Gio is actually tall. But carrying on. Stop.
OBS, one big shit.
So true.
So true.
So Wingman45 sends one dangerous letter, and then he says, "Ever give up?"
You rickrolled us.
Yeah, so true. I need a giant Gio Fumo and a Prude Frog plush. I'm not opposed to that at all. If you can make that happen, chat, we will make it. We'll make it a limited release. The giant Gio Fumo and the Prude Frog plush. We will make it a limited release.
Yeah,
I will make it happen.
Which YouTuber had plush dolls that did a limited release? I think some video game YouTuber. There's a few of them.
That's true. Continuing on with the super chats, Sex Freakman says, Gio, please keep saying yawn. And Prude, please find Capitalissimo's house in real life for real and make him get entropy in legitimate self-defense situation. Thank you for the show, Game Boys. I will set up with app on how to do that. Melon says, Gio is bullying me into following him on Twitter and sending another super chat. How does he do it? Bullying works. Send money now. Do you know how little idea that narrows it down? Yan going, no.
Yan. No, because I think Yan, I think of Yan Hammer, the famous keyboardist.
I think of Yanni.
Hammer. Oh, there was that. Oh, man. Do you remember Yanni on Twitter? He was like the schizo guy that was like, 1 week he was an Orthodox person, next week he was a pagan. Do you guys remember Yanni? Or this is like esoteric monarchist Twitter lore. Yanni. I remember Yanni. No one remembers.
No one remembers.
You guys remember
we're just gonna do this all week.
I was gonna say
it's gonna hurt my voice.
Guy, Lucas Space.
I gotta sing tomorrow.
Shit. I gotta stop. It's like,
I wonder what Lucas is doing now.
It's a great question. But Oddsworld Art says, this is for Michael Hassler in chat. He says, would you ever cover Law of Civilization and Decay by Brooks Adams? I'd have to read it first.
Sure, we have to read it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that might be a dire book. Although the next two books for Do You Even Read are already covered. Because we are going to be covering because Dimes likes to cover these sort of like lefty books. So we're going to be covering a Walter Rodney text next, which I'm not looking forward to. And then after that, we'll be covering Grayson Quay's The Transhumanist Temptation. So we have our next two books, but I wouldn't be opposed. I'll talk to Dimes about it, maybe see if that's something we can cover. And he says, but also thank you both for the shout out of the Gio Fumo. I will talk to Mike of Poll about it. Oh, with our friends over at pureobject.net.
Pureobjects.net.
You can go buy Gio's frog mug that way. It's a great mug. So we'll carry on from there. Spinal Catastrophism was a really good one. I really have to laugh my ass off because I'm not Greek either. I'm French. No, I'm being bullied by my parasocials.
Yeah.
Do we do recommendations for Do You Even Read? Yeah, absolutely, Fraser. You can recommend a book. We'll do it.
Apparently, a Howling Haitian account just dropped.
Oh no way! He's probably holding a cat instead of the blow up doll.
Let me look at. I think.
You know what's really funny?
Yes,
though?
He's holding a cat.
I love it.
Yeah.
The publishers who have the Spinal Catastrophism book, they had gave the first episode a shout out. They're like, because Thomas Moynihan has a second book about the conceptualization of human extinction. And they were like, yeah, Mr. Prudentialist covers it here. And I'm like, listen, I'm not like a left-wing nihilist. I have a lot of critical things to say about this book. I just think it's a really neat piece of theory fiction. So I really like that. Would we ever do Quan Mills for Do You Even Read? No, but Gio will do it for $100.
Yeah.
So next week, send Gio $100 and you can have him review This Bitch Got Roaches in Her Crib for only $100. It'll be worth your time. I highly recommend that you do so.
Baby Daddy Stole My Ultima. That's
absolutely. Really... Can we get a frog VTuber? No, unless you make it. And then we'll talk. Although that'll be a hard one to explain to these things. But Prude, what about oil being a means by which the demons wage war against? Man, I really did not like Cyclopedia at all. I was not a fan.
Oh, and tomorrow I'm actually interviewing one of my biggest frenemies ever.
Oh, that'll be fun.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
There you go. Yeah, well, the Dyer episode is out from yesterday. We covered Hour of Decision. I will have an article out tomorrow for the OGC Substack, and then I'll finally get to work on my longer pieces that I need to finish publishing. And then outside of that, I will also have for channel members the unedited PG-13, I guess, rated review of K-pop Demon Hunters for Wingman. And since he's a channel member, he will see that tomorrow. And you get to hear some funny skits in the meantime. But there you go. So that's what I've got going on. I have some other stuff in the barrel next week as well. And then we'll be back to it next week on Gio's channel.
Yeah, Thursday I got the House of Leaves with Jewel Disc Case of the Project X podcast. It's going to be amazing. She's brilliant. She's lovely. She's beautiful. You're going to love it. So
there you go.
Yeah.
All right, everybody.
Perspective on House of Leaves.
We'll be live next week. While we're at it, I am going to recommend that you all go head on over to our friend Dave Green and the Distributist channel. He is live right now. He's been on for about an hour. So go ahead and enjoy his lectures, his monologues, as he always does. And we'll see you all next week.
God bless. Goodbye. Too sweet.
See you, gents.